Hello there everyone, and welcome along to round 4 of the 2014 UltraNet Supercup season. We are here at the Shanghai International Circuit, surprisingly in Shanghai. And we have a 5.4 kilometer circuit here with one of the longest straights on the calendar, which is going to host two, hopefully fantastic races. One feature race of 33 laps of length, and of course a sprint race, 19 laps of length. We've had a fantastic season so far, from Oz all the way to Bahrain. Today is the last of the flyaway races, and we're hoping that it'll provide exactly the same great entertainment which we have seen so far. My name is James Kirk, here as always, and alongside me, as always, I'm going to just stop with announcing three things about you, Lewis, because I've run out of ideas. It's Lewis McGlade. How are you, good sir?
Well, I'm clearly not interesting enough to have three more things this week, but yeah, no, it's been a good championship so far. Obviously, with the 3 rounds we had, the 6 races, I think all of them we could class as just entertaining from start to finish, and hopefully we've got 2 more of those coming at this Shanghai International track. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see if we're going to have the same kind of like structure to the evenings we had the previous 3 times, where the winner of the first race has then gone on to go and win the second race. You know, that's what we've had for the previous 3 rounds. Are we going to see that again tonight? Are we going to see 2 different winners? Is it going to be one from the pick that we've got already, or are we going to see someone new taking the top step of the podium this evening?
I think it has been a really interesting point now, isn't it? We've seen these. So, in case you aren't aware, in case this is your first ever Supercup broadcast, in the second race, in our sprint race, very much like GP2, we have a reverse grid of some kind. So we go onto an unnamed random number generator online, and it spits out either number 6, 7, 8, 9, or 10, and then obviously those cards get reversed. Interestingly, also, we've only had the numbers 6 and 10 this season for the reverse grid, so it'll be interesting to see if we have a different number. And you know, we're not complaining. It has spiced up the racing massively, because we've seen different names coming to the top 10, but nevertheless we've had those same guys at the top, and indeed the same guy winning race 2 as they did race 1. And I can't really say that today's going to be the day where that will change, but you just never know with these things, do you? You can never know when someone's going to have that little bit of luck or unluckiness which will take them completely out of proceedings. I mean, just got to look at yesterday, where we had Peter Burlack dominating race 1 in the Formula Challenge, looked like he was going to be taking the race 2 win, and then gets a disconnection on the last lap of the race. You never know what can happen, and although I personally would love to see 2 different winners on the same evening day, if the racing's good, I'm not going to complain if it's the same case as the times before.
No, I think it's just the way the format works when you've got a 19-lap race, which is quite a lot of laps when you think about it, and they've only got to make up, anywhere between 6 and 10 positions. It's a very different kind of format as opposed to Formula Challenge, where we have the 16 to 20 reverse grid. That's quite a lot of cars that you have to get through. So it's just a different stylizations between the 2 series. And at the moment, I've just seen championship leader Sven de Vries head straight up into P1 on a 39.984, 3,000th in front of Emmanuel Gagzella. So yes, looking.
Must be said, we are in qualifying. We are in qualifying, in case you hadn't noticed, and it's been promised to be a really interesting session. There's quite a few grid penalties to take you through. So we have 4 people with 10 place grid penalties for this race. We've got Christoph Lichtenstein for Fox Racing. He escaped in qualifying in Bahrain and rejoined the track. The same goes for Steve Alloy, a 10 place for him for exactly the same reason. Menno Klont reversed on track in qualifying. We saw that on the broadcast. He gets a 10 place as well, as does Bart de Vos. Did exactly the same thing as Menno, though I don't think in the same place. He just reversed onto the track. And so all 4 of those guys have 10 place grid penalties. Another penalty to go through was Alex Cooper, who cut the track multiple times in race 2 and therefore was handed a 20-second time penalty to end his result, which dropped him down the order quite a few places. We also have some new drivers in today. So Scott Beresford, who was the highest scorer here yesterday in the Formula Challenge, is playing as reserve for Adrian McNaughton with Storm. We also, Andreas Waters officially retired from Supercup. I think it was before race 2 of last race. He did take part in Bahrain, event, of course, but he said, no, that's it for me, I'm too slow. And we have new driver Ramon Dobma taking his place. And I don't think we have any other new people.
TSA.
Oh, yes, of course, sorry. TSA have no Matt Richards, who had a fantastic round last time. He's not driving today. Ben Horrell is taking his place. And a couple of things to clarify. So Street Fighter Racing Systems have lost Miko Sukas. That's fully confirmed. He's not going to be returning to the series, unfortunately, unless something massively changes in his life. Santiago Niza has been picked up by the team, and he's now their full-on primary driver. And Bruno Sousa Ferreira has returned to the series, but not in the Scuderia Basilia car. He is driving for Waters Automotive today, and I think that's everyone.
Also, another note is that the Street Fighter, that's not an Innovision. We'll make that clear this round. But yeah, no, there's a couple of new drivers, new faces on the field, and some which should be debated if they should be here. But you know, it's going to be an interesting round ahead, I believe, and the top 6, to point out, are separated by less than 0.2 of a second. Scott Beresford is the 1 in 7th. And a quick thing about him is that I was talking to him yesterday or a couple of days ago, and he's not very confident in these cars, and he just didn't feel like he was going to do very well. However, currently sitting in 8th position, so you know that's a shout out required.
Well, I'll say this. So I'm not going to lie to anyone watching at home here. Scott Beresford is one of my drivers with Enterprise GP and Formula Challenge, and he just seems to have this habit of saying, "I'm not that good here. I'm not that good there." Blah blah blah. I was pretty much resigned to the fact that he was only going to score a couple of points yesterday in the Formula Challenge, but there he went out, scored P2 in qualifying, got another P2 in race 1, then scored another 7 points in the race after that. So he's one of those drivers that really, I'd call him very modest. He's very modest about his abilities, but take nothing for it. He's a fantastic driver, and the fact that this is his debut in Super Cup and he's already there in P8 really shows what he can do, and I am going to be really interested to see how many points he can eke out of this event, because, well, I mean, look at Storm there. Storm P2 with Emmanuel Gagzella, who's been looking awful this season, only P10 in the championship. Look, Norton's actually ahead of him, and he was dominated by Gagzella in Formula Challenge last year. Beresford there in P8. I'm just wondering whether Storm can have a bit of a resurgence here, and they can really show their true colours, because they are
Florian
perfectly capable
Gaia.
team.
Yeah, Florian Gaia to P1.
Wow.
So this is something that I was just very quickly going to point out, is that there's clumps of drivers. We've got the what is now P2 to 4, all separated by just over 1/100th of a second. Then you've got a little bit behind them. They're all, you know, the next 3, they're within 1/10 of a second. You've got little clumps. I think, you know, if you look down at P9 to P11, they're within a few hundredths as Menno Klont improves up into 9th position. So, you know, you've got little clumps of drivers all within a few hundredths of a second. It's very, very impressive. And just to, you know, quickly see who's going to eke out. But at the moment, Florian Gaia, taking that pole position away from Sven de Vries at the moment. Currently 0.5 in front.
And China has been one of those tracks where just everyone has been super close, more than usual. And that can only promote good racing, I say. And we've got about 4 minutes left of this session to go now before qualifying is over. The top 10 are Gaia, him along with Simcraft, Alex Cooper as well, will be looking to get their championship really back on track. They're up into 4th in the team's championship. But they've got a long way to go to catch up to Edenis Engineering, who are over 100 points ahead already. Sven de Vries, our championship leader, is P2 at the moment, with Emmanuel Gagzella looking to bounce back from a terrible start to the season. He's P3. Jason Muscat's P4, the leader of the Adonis cars, with Alex Cooper P5. Philip Pushka, P6, is 3rd in the championship, with his rival P2 in the championship, Asghari Kantonen. They're behind him. Scott Beresford on his debut is currently P8, with Menno Klont, who's got a 10th-place grid penalty, remember. He's P9 for Motorsports, and then Tom Parker is P10 for FA Racing, and has got his teammate only a few hundredths behind. 3 minutes to go now, and it is going to be very fine margins who will see, who will decide who's on pole position here at the Shanghai International Circuit.
Yeah, I just saw that Mike Bell's jumped up into the top 20. Darry Tapper, though, he's in a 20th position. Now, remember, this was the guy that started from the front row back in Bahrain in the feature race, I believe it was. He really pulled out a lap at the end of that session to get close to Philip Pushka. It looked like he was just going to absolutely dominate that qualifying session. He did obviously go on to dominate the race. But, yeah, no, I'm surprised he's down that low, if I'm honest, with Darry Tapper. He's only one position in front of his new teammate. Santiago Nida, so he's got to really, really step it up to move himself further up the field.
It's strange because he was looking good in open practice as well, was looking really on it.
Indeed, maybe just not put a lap together. It's kind of hard to sometimes in qualifying.
Well, if he does end up there, it really does... Oh. Okay, right, we're hearing that he's only 1/10 off position on this lap, so we will keep with him as he rounds the huge right-hand corner onto one of the longest. I think this is the second longest straight on the calendar, and this straight really makes China a difficult place to nail the setup because it's really tight, really twisty like Malaysia, and then it's got this huge straight, which you need a good top-end speed at, breaking nicely into this right-hand pin. Really, really easy to mess it up there, and we'll keep on board with Darry Tapper as he rounds the final corner. Now, very difficult here as well. Don't want to be on the power too early. And let's see where this puts the Dutchman. P8. Okay, so that's a better than Tapper. That's where we're expecting him. But really, Darry Tapper's season has been surmised as just problem after problem after problem. He's looked great in so many sessions. He's been looking for really good points, and then something just messes up. Whether it's wrong tyre strategy, mess up in the pit stop, personal mistake, bad start. It just all seems to go wrong for him at some point in the race. And knowing Dawe personally, after talking to him on Skype multiple times, in between the races, it really does take a knock on his confidence. And confidence is everything in these cars, especially with practically no aids to help you.
Indeed, it's you can get yourself down quite easily about some things, and the thing is he's a good driver, and we all know that. We've all seen that in Formula Challenge, we've all seen that in Supercup last season. He's just, and even Supercup this season, when you look at that qualifying session from Bahrain, he's clearly got the pace, but some things just not going his way. Hopefully, later on. And also we've been told that Gaxella is up. He's gone a little bit deep before this really long right-hander. It's a little bit of as you say, the setup around this track is very, very difficult to nail, to get that high-end speed but have enough grip through the turns. And this will be the last lap for Manuel Gaxella as the time has ticked over to 0 for this session.
Let's see what the Romanian can do. This is his first, can you believe it? This is his first race since the opening round of the season where he will not have a grid penalty. He took that right-hand hairpin pretty badly. He takes the last corner pretty well. Let's see whether he can improve to pole position. No, he can't. So Gaxella stays P3. Next up the road, our major player, Florian Gaia. Oh, he takes the hairpin terribly, even worse than Gaxella. It could be Gaia's first pole position for Simcraft. He's had an awful start to the season, even worse than Cooper. Really personified Simcraft's season so far. Can he improve? Yes, he can.
Wow.
0.02 of a second.
Here comes Jason Muscat.
Let's see, Jason Muscat is next here. He comes around the final corner. Can he take pole position for Adonis Engineering? We see Tom Parker improves to 9th. No improvement from Jason Muscat, and so it's all down to Philip Pushka next. He's
way dropped off his lap. He's way dropped off his lap earlier.
He's gone off. Alex Cooper. Right, Sven de Vries, I think it's the last challenge. He comes around the final corner, really attacking that curve. Here he comes. Can Sven de Vries take pole position? No, he can't. So it's Florian Gaia. Talk about coming from nowhere. The German takes his first ever pole position in the Super Cup. Can you believe it's Simcraft's first pole position this Super Cup season? Long awaited, I would say, and definitely not from the driver I was expecting.
That definitely is not the driver I was expecting to take Simcraft's first pole position of the 2014 UltraNet Supercup season, but nevertheless, a well-deserved one. I do like my surprises. Manuel Gaxella qualifying 3rd position, that's really good for him, but like if you look down to P12, which is medical, obviously he's going to drop down anyway, it's from 1st to 12th is within half a second, and even then Kevin Siggy is only 8 thousandths out of that bracket, so it's very, very close out there time-wise. So I'm feeling like that could be a good race. We've been told that it's going to come quite heavily down to strategy, though. As according to Sven de Vries, they're all pretty close, but it's whether you can pull off a one-stop or a two-stop. I've seen this across many different racing series, of course, previously. When you look back at Australia, it's all about strategy and how you can keep these tyres from degrading, whether thermal degradation or whether it's actual just normal tyre degradation. So, yeah, it's going to be hopefully a good race we've got lined up.
We'd hope. Right then, so let's look through the championship table as we enter our warm-up. So the top 10 in the drivers, I think we've pretty much got our 3 protagonists for the season, unless we have some huge rebuttal from another driver later on. So we've got De Vries on 119, currently leading, Kantonen on 106, and Pushka on 96. I would say those 3 are definitely the 3 championship protagonists, and it's worth keeping an eye on. Philip Pushka qualifying P6, Askari Kantonen P7, Sven de Vries, championship leader, qualifying P2. He is in miles the better position there. Jason Muscat, who qualified P4, is very much on his own. He's on 79 points, and it's pretty much 20 points either way from Pushka. Below him is where we start to see the closer battles. We've got Cooper, followed by Sukas, who's no longer in this championship. Then we've got Menno Klont, who's got a 10-place grid penalty. He's going to be starting P22, I think. And Tom Parker, he's on 42 points. And then we have another big gap down to the Storm boys. McNaughton, who isn't here today, on 27. Gagzella, who qualified a great P3 for him today, looking to get some good points on the board. He's in 10th on 26 points. And then in the team's championship, Adonis, way out ahead on 185. Satellite second on 124. PB in third on 106. Simcraft fourth on 82. Only 1 point behind is SRS on 81. FA is then behind them on 57. Good 30-point gap back there. Storm on 53. Multiforce, who've had an awful start to the season in comparison to last year, only on 43 points. TSA, who had a real resurgence last time in Bahrain, they're on 30 points, ahead of Measurik, not Mia Zurich, Measurik, so thank you. Shout out to Mike Schroten for correcting me on that one. They're on 27. Positive Simracing, and again, we see Positive in the midfield, the biggest letdown, I'd say, from the potential of this season. Way down there on 25 points. Waters Automotive are then on 13. Scuderia Basilia 7. Fox Racing 6. And Centurion are still yet to get themselves on the board. So what would you say are the biggest talking points there apart from Positive? And what are your own thoughts on the championship so far?
Did you just say Scuderia Basilia on 7 points? You consider that was the team that had Giuseppe Ranieri last season.
Yeah, very true. Very true.
Way down in that order. No, I mean, this whole surprise thing changes event by event. Who's got the big advantage here, there, and everywhere. It changes so quickly. As to what's happening round by round, and I don't know. I think the fact that one team has got quite a substantial lead at the moment is saying that they've clearly got 2 strong drivers, whereas everyone else may be sitting around with one strong driver and someone else who not necessarily pulling down the team, but isn't quite up to that caliber. Whereas Adonis have picked 2 very, very good drivers, very good high caliber drivers, and you can just see that from the number of podiums they've had this season so far. So yeah, it's hard to see anyone else though getting involved in the championship fight when you look at driver wise from who's in that top lot. But long season, indeed, lots of races. Obviously when you consider it, last season, okay, although we've got 1 round less this season than last season, we've got technically, every round is 2 races, so we've got a load of races to take part in this season. A lot of action to be in front of us, and 1 minute and 30 seconds before we start today's.
I like the way that you summed up these first 4 races, Lewis, a while back. I know that you're not the biggest fan of Bahrain or China or stuff, but you said that these first 4 races, the flyaway races, are a real test, and the best drivers will get through it. The guys who want to stay in this championship will get through it, and then we get to the good stuff, the real close battling to see who will become the 2014 Super Cup, Formula Challenge, whatever, champion. And anyone who looks on the GPVWC main site, newsreaders, I'll be doing a little article to cover the flyaway races, the major talking points. And really, China's going to be the final piece of the puzzle to, I think, we can say, oh, De Vries is going to be there, Canton's going to be there, Pusher's going to be there. I think it's going to be really interesting to see if anyone can spring a surprise here in China in either of the races. Because really, it's, as you rightly say, it's still an early part of the season, and it is not entirely out of the question to say that someone will come back into that championship hunt. Hell, Alex Cooper, we were saying, oh, he'll be up there, he'll be winning the championship easily. He's down in P5 in the championship, not really making much of an impact. If he wins 2 races here today, suddenly he could be right back in it.
Yeah, I like the 2-race format. It brings a lot of interest into the Super Cup, and yeah, that was the thing. That the whole thing of the first 4 rounds are just a test to see if are you sure you want to be doing this. And once we get past these rounds, obviously, I'm a really strong hater of these this track and the previous 2 tracks. I really don't like them. But after this, we've got some really stellar tracks lined up, and that is where you might see the balance change. Because when you are driving a track you enjoy, you don't have to think as much when driving it because it comes to you more easily. Whereas when you're driving a track you really don't like, you have to think about everything what's going on because, they're just rubbish.
Interesting here that Philip Pushka, of all people, is asking his fellow drivers, easy on turn 1, please. Is that a sign of he's not too confident racing with the other people in this field?
Attention grid, all non-essential personnel leave the grid now.
Yeah, that's the R-Factor man saying. And, I mean, the way turn 1 works, obviously with the first basically complex of corners technically on track maps is 4 turns. You've got turn 1 and turn 2, which is this big right hand with the long kind of braking zone really around a turn, and then down a hill and then into 3 and 4. The way it switches back on each other, it's so awkward, especially when you're driving in a pack with 30 cars. Obviously, it was 40 cars yesterday. It can just become awkward. So I understand why he's a little bit. Can we all just take it a bit carefully, please?
Right then. His first pole position of the year. Simcraft's first pole position of the year is a long time coming, but Florian Gaia is the person who leads us around on the formation lap, followed by championship leader Sven De Vries. We then have Emmanuel Gagzella for Storm Racing, looking to kickstart his season in P3. Jason Muscat is the leader bonus in P4 with Alex Cooper. P5 for Simcraft. Philip Pushka, third in the championship, sits in P6 ahead of P2 in the championship, Askari Kantonen for Adonis Engineering. Philip Cullen, good qualifying for him again. He's in P8 for FA. Ahead of Dawei Tapper for Street Fighter. In P9, let's hope he sorted out his starts, because in Bahrain they were both terrible, unfortunately. Tom Parker then makes up a Street Fighter sandwich with FA bread, according to Lewis McGlade.
Oh, good boy.
He's in P10.
Good boy, you make me proud.
Yeah, I get the Lewis McGlade seal of approval. I hope so, anyway. We forget. Scott Beresford on his debut. Very good stuff from the Storm Reserve driver, P11. Kevin Siggy is P12 for Positive, a bit average for them, unfortunately. Maurice Brackans, P13 for PB Racing, with Thomas Shakers, P14 for the 6th Axis. Balázs Dremeniuk is P15 for Positive Sim Racing, with Terence Gretsch filling in for Dan Russo again at Centurion. Santiago Niza is P17, the new Street Fighter primary driver, with Patrick Gatewood, P18 for Multiforce. Ramon Dobma is P19, the brand new Fox Racing driver, with Mike Bell rounding up the top 20 for Missouri. We then have Mikko Jakinen, P21 for Scuderia Vasilia, with Menno Klont after his 10th-place grid penalty, T2. Yuri Ogiano is P23 for Scuderia Vasilia, with Ari Niemann, P24 for Mesurek as well. Bruno Sousa Ferreira was with Vasilia last round. He's now with Waters Automotive, and he is P25, followed by Nico DeConnick, filling in for Brandon Warren again at Satellite. Ben Horrell is P27 for TSA, filling in for Matt Richards, with Martin O'Connor, the first of the guys on the prime tyre, starting P28. We then have Fox Racing's Christoph Lichtenstein after his 10th-place grid penalty to P29 and also on the prime tyre. And Steve Alloy rounds out the field after his grid penalty. He will start P30. Missing from the grid, who would have had a grid penalty, is Bart the Boss. He's been filled in for by Bruno Sousa Ferreira. He will get his 10th place grid penalty next round if he turns up in Spain.
Yep, and we have 33 maps in front of us for this first feature race of the evening, and hopefully a good one it will be. Obviously, we've got to work out who's going to be Yeah, are we going to have a double win? I'm saying, looking at that qualifying session, absolutely not. I don't think we'll have a double win today. I think we're going to have two different winners taking out tops up of the podium today.
Question is, who will win race 1, Lewis?
Exactly. I don't know. I'm going to say Sven.
Interesting. I'm going to say Sven.
Okay. That's good.
We're agreed.
Well, that's not usually we're on the same page.
No, exactly. Right, here we go. The lights. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And here in Shanghai, we're racing. And it's a great start in the middle of the pack from quite a few drivers there. Dawi Tapper gets us. Oh, look at Manuel Gagzella here. Look at Gagzella through on the inside of Guy. Guy's had a terrible start. Look at Jason Muscat. He had a great start, but he's gone wide, and he's going to lose a bucket full of positions. Sven de Vries therefore into the lead. And Tom Parker was on the inside of Gagzella. Guy is fighting back to try and get his P2. Gagzella, good start, and he's banged Guy again. Oh, Gagzella onto the curb, and that's going to lose him a few positions as well. Sven de Vries, he's going to be loving this straight off into the distance, and here goes Tom Parker down the inside of Florian Gaia. Oh, and there's contact between quite a few drivers. It was just a concertina effect. Down the order goes Alex Cooper. Gaia's okay, and now Guy's under pressure from Muscat. It was a decent start from the German, but really under pressure now. He's able to keep P3 for the moment. Jason Muscat switches to the inside. Sven de Vries, Emmanuel Gagzella, Tom Parker and Askari Kantonen really benefiting from this. And as we cipher through, heading into Sector 2, it's Sven de Vries from Parker, Kantonen, Gaia, Muscat, Gagzella, Pushka, Siggy up into P8, Cullen P9, Alex Cooper down to P10.
Scott Barrister was having a little bit of a look on one of the positives. Yeah, it's a pretty decent start. A few people falling off, but Sven de Vries, that's the start he exactly wanted.
Yeah, couldn't have really gone much better for him. Jason Muscat had an absolute stonker of a start, but unfortunately just went wide into turn 1. And to give you an idea, I mean, it hasn't really affected him that much as, here we go, down the back straight. This is the huge overtaking opportunity. And Askari Kantonen gets past Tom Parker. Those Adonises are well known after Bahrain to have huge straight line speed, and they've shown it here today. Askari Kantonen up into P2 and ending lap 1 here. It's de Vries, Kantonen, Parker, Muscat, Gaia, Gagzella, Pushka, Cullen, Cooper and Kevin Siggy down to P10, but in a massive gaggle of cars. There's about 8 people within a second there. Plenty still to play for.
Yep, I see. Obviously, with Gaia, who's dropped down from the pole into 5th position. Where is his teammate? 9th position. Yes, he is indeed. So
both fell 4 places.
Yes, they both fell quite a bit. Oh, that's Philip Cullums in the wall.
Yeah,
13 now, just falling back a bit. He's lost his front wing.
Yep, so that's a shame for Philip. Once again, out qualifying his teammate Tom Parker, I think, for the 2nd week in a row. I can't remember. And that's Nico de Konek grab. Oh, massive crash there. That's Santiago Niza in grief. That's Patrick Gatewood in grief as well. And there was really nothing that Santiago could do there. Just had nowhere to go as de Konek spun in front of him. Yeah,
it's a bit of a shame. That hairpin can be a little bit evil. I won't say anything about yesterday.
No comment.
no comment. But currently, your lead is 1.6 seconds. However, we're going on to this back straight, which we know the Adonises are very, very good. Down? Is it Idonai? Do you reckon?
Idonai? Yeah, Idonai. Yeah, let's go for Idonai.
Yeah, sure. But Askari Kantonen is going to get under attack from Tom Parker. We'll see what his straight line speed is like.
Not good enough. Contact! Okay, I'm going to have a look back and see whether that was contact on Tom Parker's part. Because, I mean, Kantonen just flew away. And let's have a look here. So, Tom Parker was alongside Kantonen. No, it was Kantonen just lost it on his own. Kantonen just lost it on his own, and so down the order, he falls. And that's a scary moment for the person who's in P2, absolutely.
Yeah. When I was looking at it, Tom Parker didn't actually touch.
No, he lost it on his own. It was just under braking, went under him.
Could you imagine going down that back straight and just having that in front of you? Jeez. I think, though, that means that Sven de Vries' main adversary in this race is left down in 19th position, is Askari Kantonen at the moment. So I don't think he'll be coming back.
Well, I've seen stranger stuff happen.
Indeed.
And you've got to remember Philip Pushka, who's also there in the championship hunt. He's only... Quick maths, James. Come on, don't fail me now. 23 points behind De Vries. Less than a race win, and he's still there in P6 and could be in a prime position to take pole position for the next race, of course, with the reverse grid.
Indeed, obviously. Same points for race 1 and race 2, if I recall correctly. So it's not like GP2 where we have a change of points for the feature race and change of points for the sprint race. It is both the same for the 2 races of the evening. Simple stuff, indeed. I wonder, though, is Sven de Vries going to keep eking out this gap? Because it's looking like he doesn't really have anyone to look in his mirrors at the moment.
And I'll tell you what else. Sven de Vries has a problem is he's got no one to slipstream, and especially when I was racing yesterday, I found that when you fell out the slipstream, it was so depressing to see the guys ahead of you getting a slipstream and just pulling out massively, and you're
yes, no,
it
was just the all of the 2/10 gain that Parker had on Sven de Vries in that third sector. So yes, you could be correct. Whether we'll see that change throughout the first and second sector, we'll have to come back to another time. I'll flick through the grid and see where else we've got some combat.
Tom Parker was one of the fastest guys in open practice.
Indeed, he has shown some very decent pace this season.
I'd tell you what, it'd be lovely to see Parker get a win as well. I remember when we were watching the end of the WSS season last year and he finally got that first win of the season at the last round of the season. Tom Parker's been a bit underwhelming, I think, from this season so far. Definitely not in a bad position, but definitely not in the best. And to get a win on the cards for FA would just show how far that team has progressed so far. Just to give you an update of where everyone else is. Jason Muscat is now back into the podium position, but is heavily defending off a real gaggle of cars. We've got Gaia, Gaxella and Pushka all in close vicinity. Alex Cooper's then a little bit behind at P7. Kevin Siggy's up to P8. Scott Beresford's into the top 10 in P9. But he as well has got a bit of company in the form of Dawei Tapper, who's found his way into P10. Your other point scorers, of course, are Reminick, Gretsch, Jacobs, Bell and Quant. And I tell you what, for Centurion's Grand Prix, Terence Gretsch in 12th position, they will be shouting at him to stay where he is. Don't do anything stupid, because that will mean that they get some points at least. And is that someone off?
Scott Beresford getting
Scott
past.
Yeah,
Siggy.
Yeah, I think, Siggy's fallen right off, hasn't he? And Scott Beresford up into 8th position. And look at Dawei Tapper. He's going to look to capitalise on him really being at a disadvantage. And I hope they don't go 3 wide into turn 1. That would be absolutely bonkers. Here we go. Scott Beresford clearly ahead. And Dawei Tapper around the outside. Lovely move from the Dutchman there. And Kevin Siggy loses 2 positions in about the same amount of corners.
A bit of contact between Siggy and Tapper as Siggy tries to put himself back up the inside of 2. But obviously the way this whole complex switches back on itself, I think Dawei Tapper's actually going to have a fight down into turn 6. Is he? Nope. He's not going to have a look.
Nothing.
Scott
Beresford went wide. He went wide, and a bit of contact there, but Tapper is through, and so is Siggy. I'd imagine he'd have to do it around the outside. Scott Beresford's going to hold position just about, and bit of contact there. A little bit of a cheeky bum clench moment. What bum clench? What am I talking about there?
Yeah, sure.
Anyway, Siggy around the outside. Can he get up into this? Oh, wow. Decent defence from Scott Beresford. It was looking a bit worrying there, but he's just about stayed ahead of Kevin Siggy, who's now got his teammate Balas Reminick for company as well.
Indeed. It's always nice to have your teammate behind you, and I mean that in a completely non-literal sense. I don't like having my teammates around me on track, because I'm always kind of like, what if I batter him off? Damn.
It's always a scary thing, isn't
Dawei
it?
Tapper nearly Mark Webbered it over the outside of the long right-hander. He just went up
I hope
a
he
bit.
didn't lose any fuel.
Oh, funny.
Inside joke.
Inside joke.
Only a few people are going to get that. I hope you appreciate the reference, those of you who do. Anyway, let's have a look at this gap up at the front, because that was looking really interesting, though. The battle from 8th to 11th is also very interesting. 1 second. It is coming down lap by lap.
Yeah, I also saw that Florian Geyer is under attack from Philip Pushka. Philip Pushka around the outside.
What a lot. He's trying it, isn't he? He's staying there. He's staying there. He's
all he needed to
pushing
do.
up the inside of Gaia. Can he make it stick? They're still side by side, and Pushka's trying to push Gaia out to the end there. They're still side by side coming into turn 6. When will this battle ever end? Pushka breaks later. He's going to try around the outside here of 6. Gaia keeps it though, and that lovely battle comes to an end for the moment. Good defense by Gaia.
Yeah, it was some nice attacking from Pushka to keep that nose on the outside through 1 and 2, and then on the inside for 3. It was a good driving from the pair of them not to make contact with each other.
Let's have a little look here. I think, let's go back to this battle let's go back to this battle between Scott Beresford, Darwin Tapper, Kevin Siggy, and Balas Remnick, because this is really starting to close up. Scott Beresford in 8th now, Darwin Tapper 9th, Kevin Siggy 10th, Balas Remnick 11th. They're coming onto the back straight now, and as we know, the back straight is absolutely the place where if any overtaking is going to get done on this track, it will probably be here. Scott Beresford already going ultra defensive. Look at that. He pulls over. That's his one move done now. If he swerves anymore, he's going to be at a possible fault for a penalty. But look at that. If anything, he's pulling away from Tapper on the straight.
Indeed, could just have it set up so you have pretty much no wing as they cross the line. It's 7/10 of a second between P1 and P2. That gap is coming down a lot. Yes, I was about to say.
Yep, the Romanian wants a podium, and he's going to try around the outside of Muscat. And Muscat was incredibly lucky not to lose more positions at the start after going wide. And
Gagzella, yeah.
Yeah, he just mounted the curve, and that was driving, if anything, from Gagzella to mount it.
Well, I don't understand his logic there. He was trying to get the cutback from driving on the outside to then going back to driving on the outside. Is he having a little dive bomb? Nope. But yeah, it's just trying to get the cutback at a really odd location. I didn't understand the logic behind that one. But Gagzella trying to move himself onto the podium. The gap between the lead, half a second.
It's getting close. Let's keep an eye on this gap between the lead now. Let's focus on our guys at the front here. Because Parker, we know Parker's a very emotional driven driver. You know, he's really passionate about his racing. He gets pretty upset when things go wrong for him because they're his mistake. He's very similar to me in that respect. And I can sympathise with him. You know, when you put so much effort and practice into an event for it all to go down the drain, it's pretty demoralising when it doesn't go his way. But at current pace, Parker there's a very realistic chance that he could be looking at a win here. But we still have all the strategies to play out here, and one would think, well... Dive bomb! That's a dive bomb! And he could lose more than just...
a lot of time he's lost there.
And that's the sort of thing which I talk about. We're hearing from our cameraman Dave Carl-Smith, thank you for joining us once again, Dave, that Tom Parker's very confident on his strategy, but I think he was a bit overconfident in that move working off there, and that was a bit of a cut across Jason Muscat there, and Jason's going to try around the outside here to take P2 from the F8 driver. He's looking up the inside. Parker just about defends it, but Parker's in a right problem now, because look at this, 4 cars, Muscat, Gagzella, Gaia and Pushka, they're all in close proximity and all are perfectly capable of taking that second place from him.
I must say that move from Parker, that was a big mistake. And Manuel Gagzella, though, having a bit of a dive bomb. Past Muscat.
Me.
Muscat gets a cutback, though.
What is it with people and dive bombs in this race?
This track does encourage it in various locations. Tom Parker, a bit of a slide.
Absolutely. Lucky boy.
He's costing himself some time here. He needs to just keep that head focused and not be so emotion driven. Just go a bit cold. Make sure you just put in the laps you need to put in, because look, he's now 2 seconds off the back of Sven de Vries when only a lap ago at this point he was 6/10 down and going for a move on the lead. I believe, and that is a good shout from our cameraman, that Muscat's going to be very close because of the straight line speed of that Adonis.
Let's have a look. Tom Parker had a relatively good exit off that. Look at the
so
5
defensive.
cars.
That's really wow.
All flying into the slipstream. Here we go, heading down into the penultimate corner. Jason Muscat is ahead into the penultimate corner, though. Can Tom Parker get the better traction? No, he can't. Jason Muscat takes P2, and Tom Parker really suffering now. Next up on the agenda is Emmanuel Gagzella, and he's going to be in the slipstream coming down the home straight now. Tom Parker's going to try and hook onto the back of Jason Muscat here, but Emmanuel Gagzella is also in the slipstream, and heading into turn 1, there was almost contact. Tom Parker just sweeping across the Romanian, just about keeping in. You can see actually that Tom Parker's line through there is a bit better than Jason Muscat. You can see where Muscat's wings hurt him, if you can call it that. It's only marginal, but Tom Parker's definitely stronger around that first sector. It's just a straight line speed which he needs to nail. God, he's trying everything around that corner, isn't he?
He's really trying to get on that podium.
Heading into this left-right, this is a really tough section, this left-right section. A lot of people will think, well, surely you can do it flat here and then flat here. Not at all. It's all about managing the throttle, very similar to Malaysia in that respect, as Tom Parker looks to the inside of Jason Muscat, can't get anything done. heading towards the end of Sector 2 here. Yeader decks it, and Tom Parker runs slightly wide, and that's going to allow Emmanuel Gagzella straight through. And Tom Parker, oh, that's a dive bomb, and that's just stupid driving. And what that has done is Emmanuel Gagzella has dropped to 6th and will lose another, or I presume he will lose another position to Alex Cooper, but that is the sort of emotionally driven driving we don't want to see, and that, I'm pretty sure, will find him, well, I'm pretty sure Parker will find himself slapped with a penalty for next race after that incident.
Yep, obviously next round. But yes, Florian Guy there also gets past on Parker. He's really hurt himself in this race at the moment. But yeah, that was not a pretty thing to see in the broadcast, unfortunately. But I don't think, even if he was behind Jason Muscat, because of the way Jason Muscat's car is set up, I don't think there was anywhere that he could really have gotten past Muscat once he was behind him.
Yeah, here we go, Parker around the outside of Guy. I mean, oh, look, he's locking wheels with Guy. I hate to say that I like seeing angry drivers in races, but I tell you what, when the red mist descends over someone's visor, it just completely lights up the race, and Tom Parker seems to be wanting to get back onto the podium any means necessary, which is not good for him. Potentially great for us, though. It means more action and more daredevil moves. Jason Muscat starting to pull away now in P2, starting to close in on Sven de Vries's lead, interestingly. Only 1.6 seconds separates the American from the Maltese driver. In third then is Florian Gaia, who started on pole position, and he too, in the second sector, has started to pull away from Tom Parker, who's falling back into the clutches of Philip Puschker even. And can he get taken by two Germans over the case of one lap? Not into this little left-right section, very difficult to nail. You don't want to go on the power too early, otherwise you're going to go wide here at this right-hander. And let's look at Philip Puschker's straight line speed then. Not usually the best guy to look to on straight line speed, as he focuses more on personal tyre grip and making sure that his tyres eke out the maximum every single lap. He looks out to the inside of Parker, but there's nothing doing into the penultimate corner. Will he get better traction though? No, he won't. So Parker will stay ahead, heading onto lap 11.
Yeah, then I think now is the kind of time we should probably think about what's happening tyre wear wise. And my big thing is this pit lane, is the entrance to the pit lane. You've got to really think about who is around you before you try and enter the pit lane. Because obviously it's something where you don't have to brake for that final turn because of the way it exits the final turn. So you've really got to think about who you're around. Sven de Vries, clearly not a problem. Jason Muscat's probably not a problem. However, everyone behind Jason Muscat, if, like, say, Florian wants to pit at the end of this lap, whereas Muscat doesn't, he will be compromised on pit entry because he'll have to slow down to make sure he doesn't crash into Muscat. So there's a fun thing to look out for.
Right. Let's have a look at other battles which we looked at earlier, or other incidents which happened earlier. So the battle between 8th and 11th has really started to separate out over the last few laps. Dawi Tapper's solidly in 8th, Scott Beresford's solidly in 9th, Kevin Siggy's solidly in 10th, and Menno Klont, who started P22, finds himself up in P11 now, having gone past Balázs Remenyuk. Askari Kantonen, who lost it of his own accord into the penultimate corner a good few laps ago, back up into P13. So at least the Dutch driver is scoring points. Terence Gretsch is in P14, so still scoring points for Centurion, and Maurice Bracken, of all people, is in P15, scoring that final point at the moment. All the tyre strategies still to play out, though, and it'll be interesting to see whether we have... I think we're looking at 1 or 2 stops, aren't we? The better people will be on 1 stops, whereas the majority will be on 2 stops.
Yeah, something like that. But yeah, Oscar Cannon to put himself up into 30th position is very good. Hopefully he's got the pace to move himself further up and inside the top 10. Obviously, because if he does that, then he'll be in a good position to go and win the second race we have lined up this evening after this race has been completed. We're currently 33% through the race. And none of the top lot have pitted yet.
Except Alex Cooper.
Except Alex Cooper,
who
yes, into the pits right now.
And let's see what Alex Cooper goes on to now, whether it's the harder white prime tyre.
Nope, options.
Options, so option prime for Cooper, confirming he's on a 2-stop strategy.
Oh, Kevin Siggy and Menno Klont going side by side. Menno Klont's trying to get him way past the positive. He does indeed.
That's very good effort from Menno Klont to get back up into P7. Oh, sorry, P9, sorry, the 7 points. Kevin Siggy, though, the angry Austrian, as I like to call him, on the inside. He's had not a lot to cheer about this season, hence why I call him the angry Austrian, but Points are points, I would say. And to be quite frank, I'd be focusing on getting more and more points in the bank rather than looking towards the podium.
Oh, sorry, I thought he was going to go straight in the back of Menno then.
It's okay.
He's going to have a little dive bomb.
Oh, well. That was a brave manoeuvre, but it worked out for Siggy. Onto the little mini straight here, which marks the beginning of Sector 3. Menno going to dive back through. One would ask whether that's such a good place to make a move, though, especially considering that you've got the massive
Exactly. This is what I was
only
thinking
2 tenths after.
It's if you think you've got a setup with good straight line speed, then maybe getting yourself past is actually at that point quite a good idea because you can maybe streak just a little bit of a gap on the straight, but you've got to be knowledgeable about what's happening with your car and what's happening to the car in front. He stays in front. Apparently, Gaia has pitted. Yes, the other Simcraft into the pit lane. No one else, however, is. Yep, actually, Pushka is.
Okay, just to give you an idea of where Alex Cooper came out, by the way. Alex Cooper came out P18 behind Yuri Ogiano. Is just passing now. So we'll see where Gaia and Pushka do come out into this equation. So Gaia onto the option tyre, Pushka onto the prime tyre. Our first alternative strategy from Pushka. Gaia comes out ahead of Pushka. And where is Alex Cooper? Alex Cooper's just coming down the pit lane, so he's behind Pushka. I would say he's gained a bit of time overall, though, after pitting earlier.
Yeah. I see at the front. Everything's closing up a bit. As Sven de Vries come around to lap Ben Horrell, the replacement of Matt Richards last time, who I believe Sven was fine with Matt last time out, so he's come up to the same car, different driver. And, Ben Horrell
moving out the way nicely.
Yep, indeed.
Good to see good markers.
But how close are they going to be now at the end of this straight? I think Jason Muscat's going to be nice and close to the back of that satellite. It's 1.1 now. Obviously, we know the straight line speed differential between the two cars is quite large. I noticed Tom Parker's closed right up to the back of Jason Muscat, so probably will try a move if he can keep close enough down this back straight. I reckon he will be able to.
The last time he was in an Adonis rear wing. Oh, look at this. He's got much. That's a bit better, isn't it, than when he was behind Scary Canton, and Tom Parker clumsily gets through, and Jason Muscat just says, well, good attempt, but bye, and takes the position back rather easily, I would say.
Emmanuel Gazella into the pits.
Emmanuel Gazella pits, okay. Do we have Dawei Tapper pitting? Dawei Tapper pits. Scott Beresford goes round again. Kevin Siggy doesn't pit. Menno Klont doesn't pit. And neither does Scary Canton or Remenick. Greg does. Let's see where Gagzella comes out. Gagzella onto the prime tyre, by the way. So, mimicking Pushka's strategy. And where is Gaia and Pushka? Here comes Gaia. Down the back straight. And he's going to be he's absolutely ahead of Gagzella. Where's Pushka? Oh, Gagzella's ahead of Pushka. Oh, it's going to be ever so close. Pushka trying around the outside. And look how much Cooper's caught up in this stint as well. Right with Pushka. These three drives. Contact between Pushka and Gagzella. That was a bit clumsy by Pushka. And Gagzella's trying to hold on. Oh, he's trying to siphon off Alex Cooper as well. Trying his hardest to stay in that position. Cooper, of course, on the alternative strategy between these two. Gagzella trying to go around the outside of turn 6. That's going to really put him in a bad position in regards to where Alex Cooper is. Alex Cooper going to look on the inside of this left right-hander. Gagzella sweeps across. And this battle's going to rage for quite a bit, I'd imagine.
Yeah, also, if we look further forward, Jason Muscat is now going to be right on the back of Tom Parker. Tom Parker switched over the position-wise. At this point, last lap, we know how much Jason Muscat's got a high top speed, so I think he'll be right past down the straight and clearly ahead. There he goes. Easy peasy.
Simples, and they are absolutely catching up on Sven de Vries as well. These are the top three. Let's see whether any of them pit. Sven de Vries pits. Jason Muscat pits. Tom Parker pits. They're all pitting.
No one's done a Lewis Hamilton yet. Right? So
Scott Beresford in 4th pits. Menno Klont pits. Kevin Siggy and Balash Remenick. Siggy goes round again. Interesting. Remenick pits.
Cantonen pits.
Bracan pits. This is the major pitting window.
Pits.
They're all pitting.
But here comes Gaia, though. This is the important one. Where is Gaia going to be?
If he's jumped Muscat and de Vries, that's going to be the biggest thing. Here comes de Vries. Here comes Muscat. Both of them on the prime tyre. Gaia passed them.
Wow.
Gaia's jumped both of them. Though that said, he's on the options.
He's on the options,
not
yes.
The prime. Tom Parker comes out. Yeah, so Tom Parker, I mean, look at Tom Parker. He's just come out ahead of the huge battle between Gagzella, Pushka, and Cooper. It's still raging on after this one lap. Pushka ahead of Gagzella, ahead of Cooper, who must be absolutely ruining the fact that he's on the option tyre right now. He's going to be wasting away the life of the short. Oh, here comes Gagzella around the outside. Oh, he still can't get anything done around that corner. I would have given up 2 laps to go if I was him. But nevertheless, he's still ahead and managing to keep ahead of Cooper, which is a major plus. So Kevin Siggy then is the last front runner who has yet to pit. He's been on the option tyres longer than anyone else in this race, and it's going to be interesting to see what strategy he goes on. I'd imagine that the sensible option would be going to the option tyre. That is the shorter stop time, and was presumably filtering back out into the field in a higher position than he was. But interesting that Gaia uses the same strategy as Alex Cooper. It seems to have gained him a great amount. Look how much he's stretching away from Sven de Vries.
Yeah, just to point out though that for Sven de Vries, Jason Muscat, all these people who are currently on the primes, they will not be stopping again, because obviously if you look at it, they've got 19 laps until the end of the race. 19 laps is the same length as the sprint race we've got coming up a bit later, which makes me wonder about Florian Gaia's and of course Alex Cooper's tyre wear issues, shall we call them, for the race later on this evening. So
that's a very good point. Siggy pits, so Gaia comes through to retake the lead of the race. Sven de Vries second, Muscat third, Tom Parker fourth, just ahead of this battle between, well, mind you, because Tom Parker's gotten involved in this battle now, Philip Pushka dives through, wow! Tom Parker went very wide, and what's he doing?
Oh. Don't know.
What? You know, there's been very few occasions as a commentator where someone's driving has left me speechless. And unfortunately, Parker's just done that for me today. I don't know what is going through his head, but it's nothing good. That's for certain, because he's... Let's leave it. Anyway, that means that Philip Pushka is now up into P4. We think that may be net P3, as Gaia has to pit again. Cooper is well, we would say net P4. He's on the same strategy as Gaia, though, so that may mean that he falls further down the order. Parker 6, Gagzella 7, Beresford 8, so he's actually jumped Dawei Tapper in the stop, so Tapper is very close behind, and Menoclons is P10, and look who's in P11. That's Christoph Lichtenstein, but he started on the prime tyre alongside Martin O'Connor in 12th, so I imagine they're going to fall way down the order once they have to pit for the options.
Yeah, Skari Kantonen having to defend a little bit from Balázs Reményik in P13. But he will, I think, Kantonen, obviously with the straight line speed, run away a bit on the straight. Remember, the reverse grid positions are 6 to 10, so he's got a bit of work to do before the end of the race, before he can take a nice breather and hope he can get that reverse grid position. If not, he's putting himself in an okay position for the next race.
Right, P2 is on.
Oh, yes.
Sven de Vries.
Possible battle for the lead.
Heavy pressure from, we believe, net battle for the lead. And Jason Muscat, he was closing on Sven de Vries, wasn't he, in the first stint once he'd dispatched of both Kantonen and Parker because of their own mistakes. And I must wonder, a lot of people were imagining Kantonen was going to be absolutely definitively the lead driver of Adonis Engineering this year. Jason's putting on a real show here, and I think it would give him a huge boost of confidence if he was to, in fact, take the win from championship leader Sven de Vries here.
Yep, Alex Cooper also in P5 trying to work his way up. He was side by side with Pushka all the way around 1, 2, 3 and 4. But, you say that with Muscat. The thing is this is what I was saying earlier on in the show, the Adonis have 2 strong drivers, have 2 of them. Whereas everyone else seems to have 1 strong driver and a good driver. Whereas, Adonis just have 2 very good drivers. 2 drivers that can quite clearly fight for a win or fight for those podiums, and that's the important thing there. And that's why Adonis are leading this team's championship, because they've got 2 very strong drivers.
Right, let's just give you a little brief update on what would happen now if the 2 Simcrafts pitted. We say about 20 seconds for a penalty for a pit stop, on average. Just actually, let's come back to the action. Alex Cooper looking on Pushka. This is going to be crucial to his strategy.
No, it's all right. Go back to Alex Cooper.
Cooper looking on the outside of Philip Pushka. And Gagzella. Well,
yeah.
And that really was just stupidity on Gagzella's part as well. Just lost it on the braking. He falls behind his reserve teammate, Scott Beresford. and Dawi Tapper as well into P9, and he will no doubt be carrying damage as well. That's his chances of a podium out of the window. But as I was going back
Alex
to say...
Cooper? No, it's fine. Alex Cooper, he keeps having a look.
Yeah, 20 seconds we say for a pit stop. At this current point in time, Gaia, who is leading the race, would filter out about P11 or 12. That is how many points and positions they would be losing if they were to pit at this early stage.
Well, they've got to pit either way. I don't think anyone else is going to be. So, you know, they're going to be losing a lot somewhere.
Very strange. You're expecting most people to two-stop, and here the majority of the field are one-stopping, looking confident in it.
Yeah, it's kind of odd when you see this split strategy, but I think, you know, it's just when you've got someone, when, you know, most of the grid pit on, you know, with 19 laps to go, and you've got a 19-lap sprint race coming up, you've just got to accept it that if you haven't done that, then you're on the wrong strategy.
Right then. So with most of the pit stops playing out, the only last person to pit for their mandatory tyre change is Christoph Lichtenstein in P11. Let's go through your retirement. So first retirement of the day, Ben Horrell for TSA. He was out on lap 14 with a suspension damage. Bruno Sousa Ferreira retired, just purely out of retiring. P29 and Mikko Jakinen out in P28. Muscat is past De Vries, and that was on the back straight as well. So hopefully we covered that anyway. That is crucial because we believe that may very well be for the lead of this race, and that'd be huge for Adonis Engineering. They got one driver well back in the pack, but their other one is stepping up to the plate now. Muscat into the net lead. Yeah,
well, you say it may very well be. I think that's a pretty much confirmed, unless Flying Guy fancies taking I think it's a 20-second time penalty at the end of the race for not doing your other pit stop. So unless that's on the table for him,
I think it's 30 seconds even.
Is it really? So, you know, it's a large chunk time penalty if Florian Guy does not pit. His teammate's already been dealt with one of those this season back in Australia.
Well, I think it's a time penalty considering, so the 20-second on average pit stop and a 10-second penalty for just ignoring the rules. Yeah, so this definitely, Jason Muscat, Sven de Vries is pretty much the battle for the lead. I think the wing difference between them two is interesting because Sven de Vries has to work very, very hard to get past Jason Muscat, whereas Jason Muscat, considering how close Jason Muscat is to the back of Sven de Vries, can, you know, not relatively easily, but should be able to get past with a bit more ease because of that straight line speed, that compromise in the setup that he's made, which gives him such an advantage down the back straight. However, they are very close as they head round that banked double apex right. Until I'm pretty sure we saw this same sort of tussle last time out in Bahrain, didn't we? It was De Vries versus Muscat again, and the problem was that Muscat had the huge straight line speed advantage, whereas Sven de Vries had to work really hard to get past him in sort of like the mid sections of Bahrain, and eventually De Vries did win out, simply because he found a way past and he was able to defend off Muscat long enough and to pull away at such a gap in the tight sectors that, you know, he was so far ahead of Muscat that he couldn't do anything. Here, though, I do wonder, with the length of the back straight, whether De Vries will be able to do that. I know there's less straights in comparison to Bahrain, but even there, I mean, De Vries just can't seem to find a way past because Muscat seemingly has learned from his problems in the past. Yeah, just really quickly, Oskari Kantonen's under attack from Christoph Lichtenstein, who's just had a bit of contact with Balázs Reményik, but Oskari Kantonen is into P11, which, bearing in mind the two Simcrafts have to pit, could be P9. So he could be within that top 10 situation at the moment, which is very, very good for him. But yeah, I mean, you say that with Sven de Vries and Jason Muscat. The thing is if Jason Muscat wins this, he'll be the fourth different winner in the fourth different round. Which means statistically he has to go on and win the second race. So put yourself in that position. See whether the Maltese driver can make the premonitions come true. So we're on lap 20 of 33 here at the Shanghai International Circuit. Your top 15 are Gaia, Muscat, De Vries, Pushka, Cooper, Parker, Beresford, Tapper, Gangzeda, Klont, Kantonen, Siggy, Reményik, Lichtenstein, who has yet to pit, still on lap 20, so that confirms the prime tyres can go all the way in the sprint race, and Maurice Brackham is the final point scorer, though that will default to Ari Nieminen. Battle for P4-5 is on. Philip Pushka v Alex Cooper. Alex Cooper on the alternative strategy. He has to pit again, so I don't think Actually, this is an interesting situation that Pushka finds himself in, Lewis, because we've seen Pushka usually as tyre issues didn't really suffer too much in Bahrain, but would it not be better if Cooper was seriously just faster to let Cooper past? Because we know he's going to have to pit again.
Well, the thing is with that is that it's all about speed differential, and if Alex Cooper is past and Philip Pushka can get past again, then Pushka, I don't know. It's kind of like you may end up feeling like you're going to trip over the guy, and let's be honest, it's about for position. I don't know how Pushka's tyre wear is at this track. Bit of slide coming out of the hairpin. Yeah, I don't know how it is at the moment, but I don't know. I'd say logically, Pushka should probably just give that position up because it's just completely irrelevant anyway.
Yeah. Let's give you a brief update on where these guys, actually, the Simcraft guys, would filter out now. So, following Guy in the lead, we reckon he would come out about P11, definitely now, because you've got Oskari Kantonen in P11. He is in close battle with Kevin Siggy at the moment, and the more those two battle, the more they will fall behind the lead. And so Guy will filter out about there. Alex Cooper, who's 10 seconds behind Guy at this point, he's going to be looking at P13 or 14. So really, it's those Simcraft guys, if their tyre wear really is that bad, they need to find something in the setup to help sort that out. Nevertheless, Cooper's going to look on the outside of Philip Pushka, and Pushka goes wide. And so through goes Alex Cooper into P4, though I reckon he's going to drop about 10 positions by the end of this race with his mandatory pit stop still to go.
Yeah, indeed. He's also going to have Philip Pushka on the inside, I'm going to assume. Yep, for turn 1.
Pushka has it rather easily as well.
So this is what yeah, sure, why not? let's just let them fight over it. It's something to commentate on.
It certainly is, isn't it? We're not complaining. We're just worried about the drivers, tyre wear and all that. And I'm sure Pushka, if he has sorted out his tyre wear, he'll be fine with it. He'll be just like, I mean, there's not much. He's not going to catch up to De Vries, I don't think, because De Vries is. Oh, look at him. He's hanging on to the back of Jason Muscat with that almighty top-end speed. Muscat's just going to be... So, yeah, it's fine. Actually, I find it really interesting, actually, how close De Vries still is to Muscat. He is hanging on for dear life. And you must wonder if Muscat's tyre wear is worse than De Vries's, which you got to remember is perfectly logical, given that De Vries has those lower downforce settings and will be using more of the tyre through the corners. Could De Vries, if he stays within this proximity, still yet have a chance to win this? Because I think there's a real chance.
Let's be honest, it's Supercup, and so far we've seen that anyone's got a chance to win this, win these events. But Jason Muscat is in prime opportunity at the moment as Pushka has a little fight with Cooper again. They seem to be tussling. I think what this shows is that Cooper is running very, very high wings. If he can't get past Pushka, who I don't think is running, the lowest wings that we have.
So like a medium downforce.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think Pushka's on the kind of the medium level downforce, as you say.
Best of both worlds.
Adonis is the low, whereas it looks like the Simcrafts are running the high. Yeah, it's It just shows that car does not have any straight line speed at all.
Yeah, I was about to say that, Dave, actually. So we've seen Taui Tapper been quietly at work while we've been looking at the top guys. He's now up into P6. He's gone past Tom Parker. I think he was into the final turn of last lap, potentially. And Scott Beresford has now been filtered down to P8, though still ahead of his teammate. And that will say something if he can come into Super Cup on his debut and beat the likes of Emmanuel Gagzella on debut. And behind Gagzella, actually, Menno Klont still there in P10. Top effort from the Dutchman, considering he started P22. A net gain of 12 positions, and in with a chance of a reverse grid pole. I think he deserves a shout out for that.
Indeed. Let's have a look where anyone else is close. See, this is I've just flicked up to P2. Okay, now Centre Vries is within 4 tenths.
He's not making any impression, is he?
Exactly. It's as if Jason Muscat is driving the same car, but Jason Muscat's in the slipstream still. So that's just the downforce difference between
Tom
the two
Parker.
of them.
Parker, oh, look at this. He's
Yeah.
being overtaken by Scott Beresford, who was
Bit of
very
contact.
slow on the exit there. I think that wasn't anyone's fault necessarily. And Cooper pits, here we go. Here comes the mandatory pit stop that we were expecting. And it'll be very, very interesting to see how far down the order Cooper falls. I would have said about P13 or 14 at this rate. He's already down to P10. Here comes Kantonen. Here comes Siggy. Down to P12 goes Cooper. Here comes Remenick as well. In close pursuit is Maurice Bratcan. Cooper leaving the pits now on the prime tyres. Is passed by Remenick. Passed by Bratcan. Nieminen is behind. And P14 for Alex Cooper.
Oh,
Man, that's a big loss.
Parker got past Scott Beresford again, down into the hairpin. As Beresford was kind of breaking a bit on the curb. But, yeah, no, Parker up into P6, what we reckon will be P5, when Florian comes around to pit.
Let's see, where is Florian? So we reckon, yeah, Florian probably... Actually, Florian's not going to be too bad off now, I don't think. He's going to be looking around Menno Klontz area, to be honest. So P9, P10... Not too bad for Gaia, and still in with a chance of grabbing that reverse pole. We've only had P6 and P10 so far this Super Cup season. So by that measure, there's a very real chance that he could be on pole position once again and could make up for his... maybe he might not be able to do the full stint on the prime tyres even if his tyre wear's that bad.
I've just seen that Siggy's just gotten past Oskari Kantonen. Quite a nice little move there. Nice cheeky one. But Oskari Kantonen trying to get himself up into that top 10, as you say. Where the reverse grip poles are. But there you go, easy past. Just, there's no struggle for him on the straights. Kevin Siggy. Jeez.
You got a bit scared there.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's always good when you enter a braking zone. He's a good couple car lengths behind.
Push
Wow.
the pits.
Oh, really? Okay, now, not only has this made this more interesting, either A, he doesn't have enough fuel in, or B, which is the one I like the sound of the most, we've got a very interesting sprint race coming up soon.
What happened to Pushka?
I don't know. That's really odd. I don't think that's going to be through tyre wear.
I couldn't catch him. I tried to look back to see him in the pit lane, but of course, because of the way RFE works, it shows him coming into the pit lane on the option tyres and fully...
He was definitely on the.
He was definitely on the primes.
Yep. And now he's on the options, whereas he ran the options early on in the race as well. So gets past his teammate.
That was a let through, surely.
Yeah, sure. He's just. Oh, you're my teammate. Yeah, sure.
What happened?
Go away.
If someone could get onto that, please. What happened to Pushka?
I don't think it was through damage or anything like that. It must be something like fuel or something.
If he's misfueled.
I personally don't think it's tyre wear. I don't think he's damaged because.
Was the tyre wear really that bad on the prime tyres? Well, mind you, he was battling all that time with Cooper.
Exactly.
What if this is the repercussions? I
don't know if that would blow 9 laps of tyre wear though. That's a really, really big thing to think about. And now we really have to look at everyone else in the primes and judge. Okay, now what's the story? And now what's going on?
And let's see. I mean, while we're on Pushka, he's gotten past Balázs Remenick here rather easily into the penultimate corner down the back straight. But I mean, Sven de Vries must be rubbing his hands together. This race could not have gone any better for him, really.
Well, he still has Jason Muscat in front.
He's still there. He's still like within a second or so, but he just can't do anything. Because Muscat's speed is such that he is there. But actually, mind you, look at Dawe Tapper.
Wow, yeah, that's pretty cool.
Because of the pits and because of all this madness, Dawe Tapper, astonishingly, is now in the podium position. Scott Beresford, on his debut, could very well end up P4.
Very, very impressive. We'll have to see what's going to happen to everyone else's tyre wear. But it's really, really odd. Yeah, and that is something that David's just pointed out, cameraman. Is that Florian Gaia is pulling out this gap consistently. Because, obviously, you think option tyres to primes, but you got to admit these option tyres have got to be dropping off soon. He's keeping these option tyres really, really nice.
And I'll tell you what as well, looking at the time gaps now, we were looking, a few laps ago at maybe P9 for him?
Exactly,
this current race, he's going to be looking now at P7, P8. So it's not looking... Well, considering he started on pole position, it is pretty bad for Gaia. But in the whole gist of things, coming out P8 is not going to be so bad, considering that is right in the prime position for a potential reverse grid pole slot. So, not all bad news for Gaia.
Not all bad news, but when you kind of think what was the potential for him in this race, and where actually is he, bearing in mind he's got to enter the pit lane once again. So, yeah, I mean, Gexella's into the pits. Okay,
wow.
So this is okay. This is if you have a beard, scratch it territory. This is.
So so just repercussions here. Ascari Canton now up into P9. Philip Pushka into P10. He's at a 2-stop. Alex Cooper P11. Balash Remnick P12. Maurice Bracan P13. Let's see, where's Ari Niemann? Niemann's going to go through into 14th. And Santiago Nees is too far behind. So Manuel Gagzella into P15. He's still scoring a point. What is going on with these guys' tyre wear? We would oh yeah, it's going to be 1-stop now. Most people are going to be 1-stopping after thinking most people are going to be 2-stopping. Nope, they're still 2-stopping.
So, yeah, I know, but this just means that the next race, when we've got a 19-lap race, which generally I don't think we've seen a pit stop in the sprint race yet, have we? As in a racing pit stop,
non-enforced one.
So, what's going to happen there if people are going to need to pit stop from the primes? This is crazy.
I'm genuinely scratching my head. I think Gagzella, by the way, is going to probably take P14. Niemann is ahead of him and obviously on much older tyres and worse tyres. Gaia pits, okay. I'm expecting P7 for Gaia, or P6 for Gaia, around that area. So that means Jason Muscat, he is en route on lap 28 of 33, 5 laps to go, to take his first win of the Super Cup season. Sven de Vries still in close pursuit behind him. Dalway Tapper from such a rocky, patchy, unlucky start to the season. What, Beresford pits as well? Oh my words. What is going on? So Tapper, P3. Parker, after all of that, is still P4. Clont from P22 is now P5. And Gaia is out in P6. So that's a very, very good stop for Florian Gaia and confirms himself in a high position, unless he makes a mistake in the last 5 laps of the race here, for the reverse grid. Kevin Siggy, P7. Ascari Kantonen, despite that huge off early in the race, is P8. Philip Pushka, P9. And Alex Cooper is P10. And there still might be more to pit if the tyre wear really is that bad.
Oh, this would be the time where I'd be rubbing my hands with joy. This is what we watched the Super Cup for. It's just a little bit crazy at times.
I was thinking this is one of the more tame races of the year that we've seen, and then this happens. Suddenly it's like, we have to pit now because we've run out of tyres already.
Yeah. Now, if you look back at Philip Pushka, you've got 6 laps to go, and Philip Pushka is on the options. Oscar Canton is on quite substantially used primes, and there is 5 seconds between them.
Yeah.
That's going to be a drive to get himself towards P8 and hopefully better himself for the next race we've got coming up.
Sorry, I'm eyeing everyone who passes the pits now.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if someone's going to pit now. This is just completely blindsided so many people.
Obviously, Gaia won't, because obviously the pit stop is currently done. Kevin Siggy doesn't. No one else. I don't know. I think it's too late.
What if the top 5 pit again, and Gaia ends up winning? It's a completely absurd situation to think of, especially this close to the end. We've only got 4 laps to go, including this one.
Sven de Vries went a bit deep.
Yeah.
And anything. There was 2 tenths between them as well when they crossed that sector 1 split. So Sven de Vries is very close to the back of Jason Muscat.
This is the point I'm bringing up now. If the tyres really are that marginal, then Muscat's surely going to be feeling the pain more than De Vries because he's got that lower downforce. That's a very good point by Dave Carr-Smith, because Sven de Vries has been in dirty air all that time, so he's going to have the more tyre wear, but he's still catching. I can't help thinking that there's an equal amount of tyre wear or something like that.
Yeah. Well, you think of it, with the low downforce that you've got on Muscat's car, it's just going to be sliding the front of the car and even the rear of the car across some bits. Under traction, it's just going to be sliding them across the track, and that's when the energy of the tyre is not being moved forward; it's being moved sideways, and that's where you lose a lot of the tyre wear. So And that's obviously why it affects it in dirty air as well, because you don't have the grip required. So odd line for Muscat, straight back over to the right-hand side of the track. No pit lane for either of them, though.
Let's keep an eye on Tapper. This has been... Tapper doesn't pit.
I think now they've got us all on edge.
Mm.
It's like, is he pitting? Oh, is he pitting? No, they're not. I don't think they are.
I'm just keeping an eye on the top 5, because the top 5 are the most crucial positions. I mean, Gaia we already know. And actually, interestingly, Gaia is absolutely catching on Menno Clots as well.
Oh, Oscari Cantonen went over that anti-cut I went over yesterday.
Oh dear. And
Yeah,
that
he didn't
had
flip.
pretty bad repercussions.
That did have pretty bad repercussions. I was looking in the same direction Esteban Gutierrez was in Bahrain.
Good shout out. I like it. Was it in Innovision?
Why not? Everyone's in an Innovision.
But yeah, actually, serious point. So Gaia still looking at a potential P5 here if he's able to catch up to Menno Clont in the limited amount of time which we have, about 3.5 laps left to run of this race. Muscat is still ahead of De Vries, and I am absolutely transfixed by this battle. It's been within 5/10 of each other for about, what, 15 laps now? 15?
Yeah, ever since Muscat caught up to the back of Sven De Vries, it has been within half a second, without error. It's very impressive between the two. Muscat feeling like he might have to go a bit defensive, it seemed, at the early part of that straight, but no, maybe it's just a bit of a mistake.
Tapper's very much in a battle of his own. He's 7 seconds off De Vries, 3 seconds ahead of Parker, and I don't think Parker's going to be making too much of an indent. Now we get to the interesting bit of the lap. Do these guys pit?
I don't think they will. I think it's just absolutely too late to pit. If people are pitting now, something's gone very, very wrong, and that's where you have the possibility of fuel miscalculations and whatnot. But
I certainly wouldn't count Tapper out of that. We've seen Tapper have that sort of problem before.
yes, we have. Hopefully not
he's
this time.
all good for this race. Hopefully he finally gets some decent points on the board.
Yeah.
But yeah, we've got 3 laps to go. And your current positions are Muscat, who is heavily followed by Sven De Vries. You might think that De Vries is going to look for an opportunity here. He might very well have one. Coming up into the left-right section here. No, he has to fall in behind. He's going to on the outside. Oh, he's going to try and he's going to have the inside line. What a move that was from Sven De Vries, retaking the lead of this race from absolutely nothing. He was closing, and he finally gets it there. But the question is, will Jason Muscat be able to retake him on the back straight while we watch these? Just to give you the rest of the top 10, Tapper 3rd, Parker 4th, Clont 5th, Gaia 6th, Siggy 7th, Canton 8th, Pushka 9th, and Alex Cooper rounds out the top 10. Muscat and Sven De Vries, they round the huge right-hand corner onto the second biggest straight on the calendar. Jason
Muscat's gone
Muscat,
straight past.
oh, you can see the wings working away there, straight back through on Sven De Vries. But it is game on. If there was ever a warning shot to Muscat that his race win was in jeopardy, that was it. And De Vries is definitely saying, I've got the tyres, mate. Bring it on.
Oh, this is going to be a good battle for the last few laps of the race. Only 2 more to go as they cross the line. And, not very long left. Who is going to win? I'm still going to put my money on Jason Muscat. Because, obviously, earlier on in the race, Sven De Vries, it's just since he lost that advantage, and once Jason Muscat had gone past, those lower wings on that back stretch are way too advantageous. I don't think Sven's going to do it.
Supercup 2014 has produced race after race. And here in China is proving no different. Sven De Vries looking on the outside again to perform exactly the same move which he did the previous lap. There's contact between the two. There's further contact between the two, and they lock wheels. Sven De Vries back on the lead. Jason Muscat dives in to try and retake the position early. There's still side by side. There's still contact, and there's still side by side going on to the back straight. Tom Parker, by the way, has a huge burst of energy. He's through into P3. Through what means, I'm not sure, but he is there anyway, stealing the podium away from Dawo Tapper as we head onto the back straight with Jason Muscat and Sven De Vries. You can't keep your eyes off of these two. Jason Muscat with a huge straight line speed advantage, As always, we've seen this lap after lap after lap. He is pulling away from Sven de Vries, despite the fact that the American's in the slipstream. Heading into the penultimate corner now, Sven de Vries does not look to the inside. It is going to be do or die for Sven de Vries now, as we head into the final corner of the penultimate lap. Obviously, nothing that Sven de Vries can do here. He'd have to be right up alongside Muscat to even think about it. Final lap. It's Maltese versus American, Adonis versus Satellite. P1 versus P4, and P1 in the teams versus P2 in the teams championship. Oh, Tapper has pitted! Tapper has pitted! The worst has come to the worst, and it is the commentator's curse. It strikes again. Douwe Tapper's going to fall down the field, but that is not where our interest is at the moment.
Sven de Vries, though, with Muscat.
Jason Muscat defending as if his life depended on it. Heading into turn 6 now. Sven de Vries around the outside. This is what Gexella tried to do multiple times before. He's got it. He's got the better traction. Heading into turn 7 now. De Vries has it. And Muscat is going to have to try so hard to keep within the vicinity of Sven de Vries here. Heading into turn 8. Sven de Vries is going to try and eke out this advantage. Heading into turn 9. Jason Muscat. He's trying to hold station, isn't he? You can see he's struggling. There's a lot of understeer in that car. And wow, Sven de Vries feels the need to go defensive on this mini straight, heading into sector 3 now. Jason Muscat locks up. Turn 10, turn 11. And here we go around the final back right-hand corner here. It's long, and can Jason Muscat hold on? Sven de Vries had an excellent exit.
I think Sven's got this.
I think Sven may very well have this. He's pulled out an almighty lead. He's pulled out 5/10. Can you believe it? In that one sector alone, Jason Muscat. Oh, he can't catch up. He can't catch up. Sven de Vries around the penultimate corner. Can Jason Muscat get a good exit? No, he can't. And on the last lap, can you believe it? Sven de Vries, championship leader, takes it once again. What a fantastic race that was. Jason Muscat must be feeling hard done by. Unbelievable finish. Tom Parker. Oh, dear me. Parker, after all that, finishes P3 just ahead of Menno Klont. P4 from P22. What a race for Klont. Gaia 5, Siggy 6, Pushka 7th ahead of Gaskari Kantonen. Alex Cooper 9th. Scott Beresford finishes ahead of his teammate. And he's in with a chance of pole position as well. Fantastic effort for him. Emmanuel Gexella 11th. Douwe Tapper has to pit again. His race goes from bad to worse, doesn't it? I mean, oh, what? Oh, no. Oh, what happened to Douwe Tapper? Why did he pull into pit lane? He's finished P15.
I don't understand. Well, maybe he had a drive-through.
Oh, dear, did he? Oh, for speeding in the pit lane. Oh, dearie me. Douwe Tapper. That boy's season could not get any worse if it tried. Gexella 11th, Reminick 12th, Brakan 13th, Newner 14th, and Patrick Gatewood manages to score his first point of the season. And can you believe it? It was ahead of not one, but 2 Centurion cars who were still yet to lift that team onto 1 point for this season. Oh my word, what a race that was.
Yeah, that was a very crazy race, crazy end. Now, clearly, everything I say about this Super Cup season, the opposite happens, so I think I should keep my mouth shut in future.
And I was right.
Sven de Vries, yeah, original prediction. That's a good one. Sven de Vries did a very, very good job there.
Actually,
that was a
you
nice
were right
move.
as well.
My original prediction was right, but I did say Jason Muscat was going to get towards the end. However, his front tyres absolutely destroyed themselves at the end of that race.
Wow.
I love Super Cup 2014.
I need some energy drink. Specifically, apple and kiwi for this week.
Yeah, it's nice that you got the opening, the can opening in there. You know, you should maybe go get some sponsorship, yeah?
Ooh, that's nice as well. I actually did try this particular energy drinks company. I did message them, email them to see if they are interested, and they didn't reply. So, no shout out to them.
We shall leave them unnamed.
Shout out to UltraNet, though, who are providing us with a sponsorship for this Super Cup season. And I must say, out of all the years to plug your name on a championship in GPVWC, couldn't have picked a better one, no. And actually, I believe that UltraNet, their home base, is literally 15 minutes from my house, I think, in Orpington.
Yeah?
Yeah, I think so. I could probably pop round and give him a visit.
Nothing's near my house except an Asda that's like ages away.
Except Sandwich.
Except
Attention grid, all non-essential personnel leave the grid now.
Well, you couldn't hear anything over the voice of the R Factor man there, but yeah.
I have my R Factor man turned so far down that I can't hear him.
Oh, I need that. You need to tell me how to do that.
I
after this.
don't know. I can't.
Okay, right. Time for the reverse grid. Remember, 6 to 10, your potential candidates are Siggy, Pushka, Kantonen, Cooper, and Beresford. We only had 6, and the number 10 called out in the previous races before. What are we getting today? We are getting number 8, Ascari Kantonen on pole.
I thought that might have happened.
And interestingly, Kantonen from Pushka. So the 2 championship protagonists, which have fallen away by quite a margin to De Vries now, is it the chance for them to strike back like that famous Star Wars film?
Oh yeah. I could ask a couple of friends of mine which Star Wars film that might have been. They would have absolutely no idea.
Oh, that's disappointing.
I know, heavily disappointing. But these are the people who haven't even watched Back to the Future. So yeah,
Ascari Kantonen clearly very happy.
yeah,
with, his reverse
indeed.
grid.
I see this in the chat.
Hallelujah! Praise the Lord. I'm not sure whether Ascari Kantonen turned to Christianity to secure that pole position, but nevertheless, it will do him and Pushka worlds of good to be able to be up there. And also, remember, Kevin Siggy, P3, perfect chance for him to secure yet more good points for positive sim racing.
Commentator's curse.
No, don't say that. This is
Well,
before the
look,
race.
I'm just saying that every time we're like,
No.
oh, hey, there's Kevin Siggy. He's doing really, really well at the moment. Then 2 laps later, he's banged off the road into a wall. I feel so sorry for the guy.
No. That's... I wouldn't do that. I'm saying it before the race. Like, we've got a 3-minute 30 cushion. It's okay.
Yeah, you think
Yeah.
so? Oh,
I
the,
do
the
think
commentator's curse sneaks up on people. It's just, 2 laps to the end. Yeah, Derry Tepper. 2 laps to the end. Oh, he's not going to run out of... Oh, okay. All right.
Well, actually, to be fair,
Touche.
what we thought... Well, we don't know what happened to Tapper, really. We don't know whether it was tyre wear and he was just going to pit on the last lap or whether it was something else. But what really compounded it all was that drive-through penalty. Because he went from at least points to P20. He will start P20 as well. Which, I mean... You think, this is the guy that came into Formula Challenge and shook it up. He brought the challenge to Gaxella and really showed him up as a driver. You know, he's like, yeah, I'm here. I want to put my name on the championship. And it's just astonishing how race after race after race, there's always something that just goes wrong for him.
I know. It's quite incredible. It seems like there's a... This is the thing that I was talking about earlier when it feels like these first 4 or 5 rounds of the championship just feel like a big test on a driver. You know, just, are you serious? You want to stay in this? Hopefully after this, it will get better for some of the drivers. Obviously, a long championship and very, very different tracks coming up after this. When, you know, we've got Catalunya in 1 month's time. After this, we've got Monaco, and that's going to be hilarious.
Only 9 finishes last time.
Yeah.
Or last year, I should say.
And who won that one? Do you remember off the top of your head? I do.
Pavel Luknovsky.
It was
his
indeed
only
Pavel.
race win of the season.
Which team was that for, huh?
Innovision.
Innovision. There we go. Got to put them in the broadcast somewhere.
Also, shout out to you guys who are interested in the scores, if you don't know them for the football.
Don't discuss me now.
Bayern Munich 2, Manchester United 1, and Atletico Madrid 1, Barcelona 0. Shout out to Maurice Bracan for telling us in the chat there.
I think
Very
I should
useful.
just... Yeah, right, that makes me sick.
Are you... I haven't been
You
sad,
know
have
how
I?
little of a football fan I am.
I'm not doing this for your benefit, though. I'm doing this for all the football fans out there.
No, I think everything should be done for me. Yeah.
You get far too much pampering on these broadcasts, Lewis. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but I make pretty pictures, so it's okay.
You also make pretty liveries as well.
Oh, I'll debate that.
Actually,
We're all
shout
in
out.
seasonal.
Let's do a shout out to Aurora Designs, actually.
Aw.
Lewis's little company. does wonderful pictures post races for all the races at GPVWC and indeed other leagues like your own Top Step. And they really are very pretty. And it's lovely to show off all the racing in picture format rather than listening to two guys who get slightly angry over things and slightly overexcited over things, losing their minds over races. It provides a nice different media alternative.
Yeah. Also, just as a really quick shout out about ITC, I did bring up ITC. ITC starts next week, I believe.
Yeah, next Monday.
Bahrain.
Bahrain. Shortened version of Bahrain as well.
Indeed. I did try driving it. I was bad.
You think the Super Cup and Formula Challenge at China was close. To give you an idea of how close the ITC is at the moment, the top 8 drivers in open practice are within 3/10 of each other. 3/10, the top 8.
It's that'll be an interesting one for everyone to watch. I believe it's Monday next week.
Yes.
I wouldn't know, I'm not racing it.
And then we've got the WSS in Spain.
Indeed.
On the Wednesday.
See if my two teams can work their way up to the front again.
And my team.
And your team.
And in the ITC as well. And of course, we've got Super League following us in China tomorrow. Possibility of rain. Can you believe it?
That'll be an interesting one. That'll be a good one to watch, I'm sure. We've got all the events coming up in GPVWC in between the 2-week break of the Super Cup when we come back.
Attention grid, all non-essential personnel leave the grid now.
But race 2, the sprint race, this is the interesting one. I want to see what's going to happen with strategy, because obviously we had lots of people who could not last that 19 laps on the tyres. What is going to happen to them? Who's going to be going on the options? Who's going to be going on the primes? I don't know. I couldn't tell you a winner. I'd have to pick it out of a hat.
Would you really? Well, I'm going to be bold, and I'm going to say Sven de Vries.
Are you? Okay, now statistically, I would go with Sven de Vries, but do you know who I'm going to go for?
Who are you going to go for?
Sky Kantonen.
Okay.
I think that's a fair shout. Starting at the front this time.
What? Okay, so Ascari Kantonen leads us off in pole position, starting on the prime. Philip Pushka
on the options.
is on the option tyres.
He's pitting.
Unless he has found a miraculous fix to his tyre wear in between race 1s and 2, Pushka is definitely pitting this race. There is no way he can make it to the end.
Absolutely not.
Anyway, Siggy, P3 for positive. Florian Gaia, P4 for Simcraft on the prime tyre. We'll see whether he can make it to the end. Menoclont, P5 for Multiforce is on the prime tyre with Parker, P6 for FA. Then we've got Jason Muscat, just lost out on the win last time. Can he take it back? He's in P7 for Adonis with race winner and championship leader Sven de Vries, P8 for Satellite. Alex Cooper, P9 for Simcraft with Scott Beresford, P10 for Storm. Emmanuel Gagzello also on the option tyre for Storm Racing, so the two Storms splitting strategies. Balas Remniak is P12 for Positive with Maurice Bracan, P13 for PB. Harry Neiman is P14 for Mesuric Racing, let's get that right again. Patrick Gatewood is P15 for Multiforce. We then have the two Centurions of Terence Gretsch, P16, and Martin O'Connor, P17. Santiago Niza is P18 for Street Fighter. Christoph Lichtenstein, P19 for Fox. And rounding out the top 20 is poor old Dowie Tapper. Can he get points this race? I don't want to put that burden on him, to be honest. Yuri Ogiano is P21 for Scuderia Basilia with Philip Cullen, P22 for FA after losing his front wing early on in race 1. Thomas Jacobs is P23 for TSA with Ramon Dodmer, P24 for Fox. Mike Bell, P25 for Mesuric Racing with Nico Tonic, P26 for Satellite. Steve Alloy is P27 for Wards Automotive. And then we have our retirees from last race. Miko Yakinen, P28 for Scuderia Basilia. Bruno Sousa Ferreira, P29 for Waters. And Ben Horrell rounding out the field for TSA Racing.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to talk about Dowie Tapper and P20. I don't think my feels have ever been hurt so much, but I try with no bad luck. That is so unfortunate. But Oscar Kantonen is about to find himself up on the grid. Can he win this race? Will it be your prediction of Sven de Vries starting from P8? I don't know. I wonder how much everyone's tyre is going to be dropping off. Obviously, the people starting the options, I reckon, will definitely be pitting. They are planning a pit stop. So can they come back later on in the race? Who knows? Let's just throw the names out in the air and pick one up off the floor, because it's probably better than our prediction.
Oh dear. Poor old Martin O'Connor there, or Terence Gretsch, just spun up his wheels and went onto the grass there, so not a good start for him at all. Look at Mike Bell there again. I've seen him doing this for a couple of races now, just pointing his car out to the side there. We'll see whether that gets him anywhere. Anyway, here come the lights. We've got 2, 3, 4, and 5 lights, and for the second time here in Shanghai, we're off and away, and it's a decent start by Ascari Canton, a great start by Ascari Canton, but he really bogs off, really spins up his wheels, though. That said, he is still leading this race, going to turn 1. Pushka, oh my god, Pushka was ending him. And off the track, I think that's Parker falling down the order. Jason Muscat has another almighty start up to P3. Menno Klont up to P4. Guy P5. There's a lot of crushing there in the middle there. Siggy P6. Send the Reese P7. Magdax set up to P8. Cooper P9. Scott Berrison P10. And in well, he's very alone in P10 actually as well.
I see
into turn 6 though. Oh, Philip Butcher's going for the lead and he's got it. Philip Butcher's got the lead. And oh, that could put Jason... Yeah, Muscat might be able to capitalise on this as well. Oh, he tried to go around the outside of Canton, but he is not able to do it. But remember, Pushka on the option tyres, we think he's going to pit. So this was very much a start needed by Pushka, and he now needs to absolutely leg it to try and get as much of a time gap from the guys behind him as possible. Behind, Menno Klont loses a position to Florian Gaia, who goes under P4. Sven de Vries stays behind in P6 with Kevin Ziggy P7. Gaxella, who also we believe needs to pit, is P8 with Cooper P9. And Scott Beresford has remained in P10 onto the back straight now. Can Cantonen do anything in the slipstream? I don't think he can. Behind you, look at there, Gaia, Klont, Sven de Vries and Kevin Ziggy all trying to fit into the slipstream. Into the penultimate corner go. Cantonen defends off Muscat. Gaia and Muscat, oh yeah, that was a tank slapper from Klont. Gaia stays ahead of Klont though, who stays ahead of De Vries. Kevin Siggy though loses out to Emmanuel Gaxella, who's up into P7, and Kevin Siggy's now under pressure from Alex Hooper, heading on to lap 2 of 19 here in Shanghai. Cantonen ahead of Muscat, still going pretty nicely there. Gaia staying ahead of Klont. Gaxella in P6, he's gotten ahead of Sven de Vries. Remember, he's on the option tyres. We think he's going to pit, and so that could all be relevant later in the race. And look, wow, Gaxella really starting to side his way through the field now, and I imagine he'll be looking to make a move on Menno Klont into turn 6 potentially. Oh, he's going to dive, and the Romanian just about doesn't have it, unless he gets better traction and is able to take Klont around the outside here of turn 7. No, he's not. And in fact, him being held up has held up Sven de Vries massively. But let's see, can he do anything into turn 8? No, not for the moment. And Sven de Vries is starting to get held up here. You can see it.
Yeah, more importantly though, Philip Pushka absolutely running away with it at the moment. Remember, he is on the options. We reckon he will be stopping. It's not the same kind of strategy that we run in the long race. You do not have to run both compounds of tyres. You can run whatever strategy you want. If you want to go option every single lap until the end of the race, then you can do that. You will be a large number of laps down, but still. So I reckon Philip Pushka will pit about halfway in this race and will go on to another set of the options tyres. Same with Emmanuel Gaxella, who is trying to defend off.
Well, he's trying to get through on Klont, isn't he?
Oh, yes, of course.
And he has
Alex Cooper off the track.
Oh, yes, he is. And Cooper falls below the top 10 there. So Siggy through into P8. Scott Beresford into P9, but heavily attacking.
Oh, it's crashing in the background.
And Parker goes off the track there. Parker, again, he's one of those people who I thought would lose a bucket of positions after going wide, doing essentially a Muscat at the start of the race. He's only in P10. And oh, Scott Beresford around the outside of Kevin Siggy. If he's able to continue this, oh, he's still side by side with Kevin Siggy. He's going to have the inside of turn 2, though.
3.
3? 3, sorry.
It's 3 and 4, sorry.
And well, what a lovely move.
That was a nice move, yeah.
Up into P8, though. Kevin Siggy, and oh,
all
Parker,
3 wide.
try to take the both of them. Oh, and there's a little bit of contact there. And he does get them both, amazingly. Good move. A bit aggressive again from Parker. I'm not sure whether the red mist of last race is fully cleared yet.
Alex Cooper straight around the outside nearly. Oh, no, not quite with Beresford. He really gave it a go, but Beresford, I think he kind of tried to get the cut back on Siggy and then was like, oh, look, there's another car there. Damn.
Whoops. Yeah, Alex Cooper clearly faster than this lot, and that's for sure. So I imagine he'll get past them in the remaining 16 laps that we have. Indeed, he's going to look to the inside of Sector 3 here. Nope, he's not able to do anything. On to the back straight we go. for all these cars. Ascari Cantonen starting to really pull out a big gap on Jason Muscat. And yeah, Manuel Gagzella has passed Florian Geyer on his option tyres, so really showing the difference in speed between the two tyres, of course, heading into the penultimate corner. We go, and that's a huge lock-up from Gagzella.
He's going to drop quite a few.
No, he doesn't. He
No,
only
just-
loses one position.
okay.
Gagzella back through.
Clont.
And interesting, yeah, De Vries is past Clont as well. So De Vries starting to make his way up the order as well. Parker P8, Siggy P9, and there's a battle between Cooper and De Vries. Cooper and Beresford that we were seeing, and Cooper going all over the place.
Wow,
As,
yeah, he's really trying to find his way around, isn't he?
Yeah, he's trying every which way possible. And look at the battle there in the background as well. Ari Neiman battling Maurice Bracan, and who is that in P14? It's only Martin O'Connor. Yes, P6 and 7. Menno Clont is back past Sven De Vries. But Sven De Vries is on the inside for turn 6. And actually, that's nicely defended from Menno Clont, doing very well. These two are good friends, are Menno and Sven. And they are sure to show each other a lot of respect here on the racetrack. But I'm pretty sure that Sven will be trying to get past his friend every which means necessary, because at the moment his two championship rivals are occupying P1 and 2 at the moment.
Yeah, it's always a bit of fun battling with a friend, but I will say Menno Clont has impressed me quite a lot this season so far. You know, he had a good round last time out. He's just been doing a pretty solid job so far, as he is proving within the sprint race we have before us. I will say Manuel Gagzella right onto the back of Jason Muscat on his option tyres. And
you must wonder what Jason's going to be thinking here, because surely
Save the
Gagzella
tyres.
has to pit. Yes, well, who is it that didn't let him pit? It was Pushka who didn't let Gags or someone on the option pie on the. It was Cooper, wasn't it? Cooper didn't get past Pushka that easily. But then again, Pushka had to pit himself, so it's all relative, isn't it? And Jason Muscat is blatantly trying to defend that position and goes wide doing it.
Second lap in a row he's done that.
Mm.
I was see in the background. You've got Menno Clont and Sven De Vries.
Still goes side by side.
Yeah.
Gagzella tries around the outside of Jason Muscat. Still going. He's going for the wider line. He's actually going to be on the inside of 3 here. And there's a bit of contact between Muscat and Gagzella, only a front nudge. And Gagzella is up into P3. Meanwhile, Clont and De Vries are still at it. And you must say, Clont is really hurting De Vries' chances of getting a potential podium here. Though I think De Vries might be able to get him around the outside of turn 7 here. No.
Also, I don't think that Clont's really too bothered about that, but
No.
Sven De Vries is going to be on the inside for the next turn if he can get it snuck up the inside.
No. Interesting.
Remember though with Sven De Vries is that he does have good tyre wear towards the end of the race. That's why he won the last race. He was being calm on his tyres.
Very true, very true.
He is a thinking driver, as it seems, as of recent. Kind of mixed matched. Really.
I
Sometimes
like Sven.
he does it a bit emotional.
I like Sven now. He is. I mean, yes, he does have that emotion in there, but
Emmanuel Gagzella.
Yes, Emmanuel Gagzella is looking to pass Ascari Cantonen, and as is indeed past Ascari Cantonen on the straight. Ascari looks to get a bit more slipstream, and is he going to try and attack Gagzella into this corner? No, he breaks a little bit early, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's like, this is not worth it.
And Gagzella once again breaks very, very late into that hairpin, but nevertheless he's up into P2, and it's now down to him to eke out that gap like Pushka has done. Pushka now 6 seconds ahead of the man in P2, which ultimately though is still not enough. If he was to take his pit stop now, he would find himself down in P22.
Yeah, but if he keeps gapping like that much, then he's going to come out in a fairly decent position where he'll be on option tyres and should be able to get past quite a few people. I think Philip Pushka, unless for some magical reason he's found a way to keep the tyres to the end of the race, and Manuel Gagzella, that Ascari Cantonen is your actual leader. However, I see. I was going to say, there's going to be a bit of contact, I think.
And De Vries is past Clont finally and goes ultra defensive. Actually,
I think it's because Sven bumped Clont out of the way on the exit of that turn.
Yeah. So fair driving from De Vries as well.
Yeah.
I do agree. I think De Vries has grown a lot as a driver, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's come a long way, definitely. Especially when, I think was it Annie Core on the first start there? was pretty bad, but
Yeah, it was. To be fair, it was sort of equal between himself and
Oscar
Oscar
Harvick,
Harvick.
yeah.
But two wrongs don't make a right. That's what my mother has
Absolutely
always
not.
told me.
My mother's never told me that.
Yes, our mothers think a lot.
Everyone else tells me that. My mother's like, no, he'll find his own way.
It's always fun there. But either way, looking a lot better now, and he's got a championship lead to prove how much he has come along.
Yeah, he's very, very quick in this championship so far, and has shown that he's definitely grown a lot, especially when it comes to respecting other drivers. And that's a very, very nice thing to see. Very mature driver he seems to be this season, and the results are showing it.
Right, heading on to lap 7 here of 19. Interestingly enough, Gagzella has actually eaten into Pushka's lead by 0.4 of a second. And of course, he is pulled away from Canton because he's on the faster tyre.
Sven de Vries looking up, hold on.
Sven
Yeah, he's had a look on the inside of Clont.
They're still going at it, aren't they? And Clont's got
Yeah.
it back again.
Nice little duel, this.
It is a very nice duel. You haven't used duel in a long time. Goodness me, that was early commentary days.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's back.
It's back! And we won't use any profound words to go with that.
That was only once.
Only once, yep. But gosh, look how close these guys are going at it. And Sven de Vries around the outside again. He's going to try and
Nice
do what he did
move.
to Musket, and he has done it again. So the higher wing settings clearly working for de Vries, but we'll keep an eye on that to see whether Clont can get past de Vries on the back straight. Below these guys, Tom Parker's in P8, Scott Berris with P9, Alex Cooper's up into P10 past Kevin Siggy, who started P3, remember, he's fallen buckets. Maurice Bracan, P12, Steve Verloy,
Wow.
P13, but he's on the option tyre as well.
Ah.
Martin O'Connor, the Irishman, is in P14, and he has got the prime tyre, prime compound on.
Let's not talk about P15.
And yes, Clont the race. Oh yeah, they're still side by side, and Clont is indeed not back past. He's going to try and get some form of traction. Oh, he is. He's going to be on the inside here at the final turn. It's always a bit dodgy to try and overtake it at the final
Sven
turn.
de Vries says no. Oh, goes over those anti-cuts.
And they're nasty anti-cuts as well. You can just see how much time he lost there. Now 7/10 behind the Dutchman, and having to get a bit more warmth into his tyres. And he's got to watch out because there is Tom Parker behind him. And I'm not sure whether the red mist is cleared from his visor just yet.
No.
I would not want to be going into battle with him at the moment.
I would assume that little wiggle on the straight was a wiggle of, yeah, I'm not too happy with that, if I'm honest. He did get a little bit of a bump from Menno. But going too wide...
it's always going to happen in that corner, though.
Yeah,
I mean, it's
going
not exactly
too wide
taking
through
corner.
that turn is not a good idea. Sven probably should have backed out of it a little bit.
I mean, it takes both drivers to know what the other one is doing. You know, the driver overtaking has to be considerate and say, look, I know I'm going to get the position, but I'm going to have to go,
Look, you remember how we said don't talk
You
about
know-
P15?
you know-
I didn't say his
said
name.
Don't talk about him.
I
and
didn't
that
say
was
his
talking
name.
about him.
Didn't say his name. I just said let's not talk about 15, and then we went back to Menno Clont. Oh, Dowie, what is going wrong with you? Oh, poor you.
I'm going to have to give him another counselling lesson after this race.
Yeah. Oh, it does mean that Mikey Bell moves up into P15.
He does indeed. Another point for Measure at Racing, which will be nice, of course. And he is quite a little bit away ahead of Balash Remenyuk in P16. So there is a slight chance that he can... Well, he might be net P14, of course, because Steve Alloy, we believe, may have to pit. Talking of other pitters, look at that gap between Gagzella and Pushka. It has been slashed in the last 2 laps by almost 2 seconds.
But I reckon that those guys are going to be pitting either the end of this lap or the end of the next lap if they're going to do it halvesies.
Halfsies.
Halvesies. Yes, we're using professional commentating terms now. Oh.
Sorry, Dave. Dave will get angry with us if we use stupid commentary terms like that. And that was lag.
That was a lot
I
of
was
lag.
worried there. I was like, Pushka's going off. And where is De Vries?
Yeah, he's bit of contact there between Clont
Yeah,
and
he's
De
in
Vries, isn't it?
P5. That's what's happening. And Florian Gaia. What happened to him? Florian Gaia.
Okay, right. So it's just a sector split missed when he had a bit of a lag. It's okay.
Okay.
It's okay.
Oh, stress. Right.
Yeah.
So anyway, let's look at this from a smart point of view. Let's bring some intelligence back into this race.
Oh dear,
So
don't try too hard.
So Pushka and Gaxella. Oh wow, look at Gaxella. He's still eating into that lead. 20 seconds, we believe, is the pit stop. Pushka now, if he is to pit, as you think he may very well do on this lap now, will come back in about P11. So definitely points for Pushka at this present moment in time.
He'll go next lap. Okay,
He's going round
again. Is Memo going the same? Yeah.
Round again.
Okay.
And let's just keep an eye on what this gap is now. It was 3.9, 3.6. That is coming down lap after lap. We believe net P1 is currently held by Ascari Canton, and if the two are to pit ahead of him, then that leaves us with an Adonis 1-2 with Jason Muscat in fourth. Florian Gaia, though, is not far behind and could be looking to secure his first podium of the season. Sven de Vries seems to have gotten a hold on Menoclot now in P6 and 7. Tom Vargas P8, Scott Beresford 9th ahead of Alex Cooper. Kim Siggy 11th, Reece Bracken 12th, Steve Alloy still going around in 13th and actually being caught up by Martin O'Connor, interestingly. So Martin might be able to take P13 before Steve even pits. Mike Bell's 15th and Ramon Dobma is P16. Oh, Balash Reminick! Oh, Balash has gone. And out of the race, Balash goes from P16 and Ramon Dobma then on his debut may be able to score a point for Fox Racing.
Indeed, that is a shame.
His helmet is designed by me, by the way.
Oh, wow, shout out to you.
Quick shout out to Voyaging Designs.
Yeah. I will bring up one thing about this these lead two with Pushka and Gaxella. Okay, so they're on the options. They're going to pit what we would assume is shortly, unless they're crazy and they're trying to go to the end, which is fine. I commend that choice. But if they get that, then they're on a fresh set of options, whilst everyone else is on a slightly degraded set of... He goes round again. Okay, sure.
Gaxella
says no. Manuel Gaxella says no. Oh, he's Lewis Hamilton did. Oh, I said no one did it earlier, and now someone did it.
And we're going to be seeing him come out about P13, P12, so where Bracan and Verloy are. So Ascari Canton goes through into P2. Muscat into P3. Gaia is visibly closing on Muscat, though. That much is clear, so Gaia might still have a shout at P2 by the end of this race. Sven de Vries now up to 5th. Clont 6th. Parker 7th. Beresford 8th. Cooper 9th. Siggy 10th. Bracan 11th. Gaxella is 12th because Steve Alloy has pitted. And where is Martin O'Connor? Far too behind. So Gaxella out. He's on the option tyres and he's P12.
Yeah, but as I say, these are going to be fresh set of option tyres whilst everyone else is on a degraded set of prime. So he can be pretty racy towards the end of this. I don't think it's racy enough to close up to the back of Ascari Cantonen, but nevertheless still fairly racy to hopefully move himself into a decent position within the top 10.
4 seconds off Bracan. I reckon maybe a shout of a top 10 maximum.
Yeah, really? I think he might be a little bit faster than that.
We will see. As Pushka, we're going to keep an eye on Pushka now, I'd imagine, with Gaxella pitting this or last lap.
It makes sense to pit this lap unless you're going to the end.
What if Pushka is able to go to the end? I can't see how he can.
No, I can't see how he can.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's 12 laps in the last race. Yeah. So, yeah, there's no way he's going to the end, but
let's see.
Is he going to dive in this lap?
Yes, he is. In comes Pushka. We are expecting to see him come out around P9, P10, around Alex Cooper territory. What this means, though, oh wow, look at the battle for the lead here.
Yeah.
Not only has Gaia caught up to the back of Muscat, but Muscat himself has caught up to the back of Canton. So as they cross the line, there is less than 1 second covering these three drivers. It's an Adonis 1-2 for the moment, but it could all change here on lap 12 of 19. Where is Pushka? He comes out on the option tyres as expected. Kevin Siggy comes through. Bracken, oh, one's Cantonen. Oh, he went wide at turn 2. And he's side by side by Gaia. So Muscat, he could yet take the win of this race, which he was cruelly stolen of. That doesn't even make sense. He had his win stolen from him last race by Sven de Vries. But look at Gaia. He's on the inside of Cantonen. Into my word!
Bit of contact there, bit of wheel rubbing.
And the German takes P2, albeit a little bit naughtily. By the way, Pushka
really
is back out into P10 and just ahead of his teammate Maurice Bracan.
Yeah, there's a bit of a nudge between the two. I think Oscar will get back pretty soon, obviously with the wing difference between the two. Not trying yet. Look who's behind these lot though. Sven de Vries, P4, not too far behind.
And well, we're on lap 12, so after this lap, 7 more to go.
Indeed.
13, 14, 15. 7 more to go.
Wow. Quick math, James.
Man, my brain's going today. Here comes Cantonen though, on Gaia, and he's passed on the straight, but Gaia has the inside line into the hairpin. He pushes out Cantonen to the curbing, and that's very nice defending from the German. But what this is doing is this is just allowing Muscat to drive away. A little bit of a tank slapper.
Yeah.
But the gap is remaining at 1 second, so let's see what Cantonen can do. Pulls out, he's going to try around the outside of turn 1. Nothing doing. And he's going to try and switch to the inside now. Turn 2. He'll be in the outside of turn 3. And Cooper has fallen down the... Cooper's pitting! Cooper's pitted on the prime tyre! What was the point of that?
Said something was going to go wrong with some of these people on these tyres.
What was the point? What was the point? And now Centurion have got a double points finish on the cards. Or maybe not. Who's that falling down the order? My word. Is that Mike Bell? That is Mike Bell. What has happened to him? I have no idea.
Don't know.
I think Mike Bell might
quick look.
What?
Oh, we got a bit of a knock from Santiago Niza into the first 10. Not final 10. Very different.
Oh, what is going on with... Did people not research their tyre wear or something going into this race? Absolutely bonkers. But anyway, Muscat nevertheless leads 1 second from Florian Gaia, who is maintaining that 1 second gap. He's pulled... He's pulled away from Ascari Cantonen, and Sven de Vries is starting to pull up to the back of Cantonen. You said it, he might have been saving his tyres. I think that's a real possibility. Menno Klont's still there in P5. Tom Parker's still there in P6. And Scott Beresford is just working his way up the order because of people pitting. He's down to P7. Hemensigi 8. Pushka's 9th. Gagzella's 10th. And these guys have pitted. In fact, no. Pushka's through into P8. So these guys have pitted and they're in a top 10 position. Absolutely incredible stuff. Bracan 11th, Martin O'Connor in the dizzying heights of P12, Niza P13 after bullying Mike Bell off the track, Terence Gretsch into P14, and Thomas Jacobs is in that final point-paying position for TSA Racing. It is now lap 14, and as Jason Muscat heads towards the end of Sector 2, he has extended his gap for the lead to 1.2 seconds. Cantonen starting to reel back in Florian Gaia.
Indeed. I see Memo Gagzella right on the back of Kevin Siggy. He's very close also to Philip Pushka as Memo Gagzella. So they're working their way up together. Obviously the two on the option compound within the top 10.
Wow, almost clean around the outside of Kevin Siggy. A bit of contact on the exit there. But no, you were absolutely right. He is going to get better than the top 10. And through he goes on the inside.
Oh, bit too much curb there, Manuel.
You don't want to be hitting the grass on the curb there. Spits you out.
Sorry, Sky Cannon. Sky Cannon has a little bit of a dive bomb. Yeah.
I was with you there. And all this battling is helping Sven de Vries catch up to the back. But the problem that Sven de Vries now faces is, does he have the straight line speed? And the answer is, he doesn't, really. The only reason he was able to beat Muscat in race 1 was because his tyres were in a better nick than the Maltese driver. Here comes Cantonen though. Florian defends, he makes his move, and he's able to stay ahead heading into the penultimate corner here.
Just a quick point, maybe he doesn't have the straight line speed. Could he change setup?
Potentially, yeah.
Exactly. Wow, Florian had a bad... Yeah.
And Cantonen is through on P2. Oh, they're locking wheels. God, calm down, guys. It's only a race. And heading into turn 1, Cantonen, he's going to try around the outside. He's going to try. And he's going to be on the inside
room.
Turn 3, my word, it's so close. But Cantonen has it. And here comes Sven de Vries as well. Although he's not really in slipstreaming vicinity. Here comes Florian Gaia. He's going to dive down the inside. Oh, no! Oh, and he's got it. He's only gone and got it. And look at Sven de Vries. Sven de Vries is right on these two backs now as well. Florian Gaia and Canton going side by side into turn 7. They're side by side going into turn 8, and here comes Sven de Vries. Canton around the outside of turn 8, heading into turn 9. They're still side by side. Come on, guys, give it a break. Canton still side by side with Gaia, heading to the end of sector 2. And here comes Sven de Vries as well. He's going to go down the inside, making it 3 wide into sector 3. Oh my word, I can't. Oh,
that was really good driving from Florian Gaia and Oskari Canton in there.
You will not see closer racing this season if you tried, but Florian Gaia is now at a huge disadvantage. Look how close Sven de Vries has caught up to the back of the German here. The question is, has he changed setup? Has he lowered the wings? Heading into the penultimate corner now. Oh, Gaia on the inside, de Vries on the outside. Gaia has the position, and can de Vries mug Canton? Can he mug
a bit of a slide.
Rival? A bit of a slide for Canton, and de Vries on the inside. De Vries is going to take him. De Vries is going to take him going around the final corner. No, he's not. Oh my word, Canton, how on earth did you keep that? He is still in P3 from Sven de Vries. Real lap. We have lap 16 of 19. I'm getting a headache from all of this. Clont is really starting to lose time to Parker as well, who's in P6. Beresford 7th. Pushker 8th. Gaxella 9th, and Maurice Bracan rounds out the top. Martin O'Connor into 11th. He's dizzying heights for Centurion Racing. Meanwhile, Jason Muscat's just flying away with the lead. He's now 3.5 seconds ahead of Florian Gaia.
Yeah, these lot fighting about is really, really helping. Is really helping Jason Muscat. But these three fighting as well is bringing Menno Klon and Tom Parker into this fight for second position.
Deary me, what a fantastic day this is for Super Cup racing. Interestingly, Emmanuel Gaxella has done... Don't worry. Long moment, it's okay. Oh no, I tell you what's happened. Philip Pushker's gone past Scott Beresford into P7 and P8. And I imagine that Scott Beresford will be letting his primary driver teammate through in a very short amount of time as well. He's not battling for a championship. Gaxella is. Meanwhile, the battle between Gaia, Cantonen and de Vries rages on. And the more positions de Vries gains, the more damage limitation he can... I don't even know what that sentence was going towards. Anyway, you get the gist of it. Gaia is defending I think Gaia's really got a good setup here because he's able to stay ahead of Cantonen pretty substantially down the back straight, even with the Adonis's low downforce setting. Meanwhile, though, as you rightly say, Menno Klont and Tom Parker really starting to close up onto the back of it, but I wonder whether their progress is going to get hindered by the fact that Parker will be looking for a move on Klont anytime soon.
Yeah, well, it's nice to see 5 cars for a very high position, battling very closely. Oskari Kenton having a little look on Florian Gaia, but there's nothing to grab there. He is very close. It's now about tyre wear. What is going to happen? We know Jason Muscat had very high tyre wear towards the end of his 19-lap stint in the previous race. So are his going to start dropping off?
He's extended. Gaia locks up into turn 6, and there we go. There's Parker. There's Parker down the inside of Menno Klon, so he takes P5. And what I was going to say is that Muscat's gap to these three. Klon down the inside of Parker again. Wow. They're still side by side. And Parker has a bit of a twitch coming out of P7. Klon around the outside of turn 8, though. And that was a bit
messy.
Clumsy. And Klon really has to let Parker back through there. Indeed, he does. But yeah, as I was saying, that gap between Gaia and Muscat came down a hell of a lot on lap 15. And it's not really going up still. So Gaia starting to work his way back towards Jason Muscat, though I fear he's run out of laps to do anything because it is lap 17 of 19, soon to be the penultimate lap of this race, and quite frankly, a 3-second gap is going to be almost impossible to get back unless Muscat's tyres seriously fall off the cliff on this lap now.
Yeah, I don't know, Menno Klon is having a look on the outside of Parker into the second to last corner. There's nothing there, but he's got the cutback.
But a bit of squirming on the exit. And Parker's able to hold P5 for now. Klont is certainly not... contact there. Klont's certainly not giving up. Also not giving up is Oskari Cantonen. Oskari Cantonen has lost Sven de Vries. He's going to look on the outside of turn 1 here. Florian Gaia is going to cut back to the inside of turn 2. But now Gaia's going to be on the inside of turn 3. And now, Oskari Cantonen tried to do all the cutbacks. But he's not able to get past the German. And
he went onto the curb a bit to Oskari Cantonen.
And that's going to possibly allow Sven de Vries through. Sven de Vries is going for it. Sven de Vries is going through it on the inside of turn 6. Cantonen giving no inch, though. and the Dutchman defends off nicely, making sure he cuts off Sven de Vries before he can get a good run around the outside. He's still going to look, though. No, nothing doing around turn 7 or 8 here for Sven de Vries, and that means that Florian Guy is going to have another bit of breathing space on lap 18 of 19 here. All this is doing is building up Muscat's advantage again. For the rest of your top 10, it's Parker, Klons, Pushka, Gaxella, who did get past Beresford in the end, Brackham, O'Connor, Siggy, Niza, Cullen and Jacobs. So that means that Gretsch has fallen down. Yeah, indeed he is. He's in P16. Jason Muscat on the final straight. Geyer on the final straight and feeling the need to go defensive as well, as is Askari Kantonen, though I don't think he's going to have much to worry about because Sven de Vries doesn't have that top straight line speed advantage, which Kantonen does have. De Vries was ruining over the fact that he didn't have a higher top line speed at Bahrain, and I fear he's going to be ruining the same here, as he could clearly have gotten past Kantonen had he had that extra little bit of pace. Final lap. Jason Muscat leads by 3.1 seconds. That gap has come down again, but unless Muscat makes a mistake now, you'd think that victory is pretty secure. Florian Geyer tries to defend of Askari Kantonen. This Dutchman wants to make it an Adonis 1-2 to really establish themselves as a championship's favourites coming away from the flyaway races.
Tom Parker have switched positions again.
Oh, yes, he has.
Leading those two.
Oh, Menaclon's doing a great job today, isn't he? Absolutely fantastic job. And if he can hold on to P5, that'll be a great double result for the Dutchman who started P22 in race 1, remember. Going back to the battle between Geyer, Kantonen and De Vries, though. The gap, oh, look at this. The gap's come down to 2.8 seconds to Muscat. His tyres are going off, and it's just going to be a case of whether he can hold on and not make a mistake until the end of the lap, heading into turn 9. Oh, Kantonen's right on the back of Florian Geyer, isn't he? De Vries starting to fall away a little bit, and you can see Muscat there. Muscat's getting reeled in. 2.5 seconds is the gap now. And I still don't think that's enough, though.
It's not enough.
I think he might have needed an extra lap or two, Guy, to be able to do anything. But look at the exit that Kantonen's had onto the back straight here. If he gets a decent run on Florian Geyer, he could be looking at those 1-2. Yes, he has. Geyer goes ultra defensive. The two cars going wheel to wheel. De Vries in the background really can do nothing. Ending into the penultimate corner now. Kantonen's ahead on the straight. There's Muscat in your pictures ahead. Geyer trying to defend. Oh, he's gone very slow in the apex. Oh, what a wiggle from Kantonen there. But no, nothing doing. And Jason Muscat, he was robbed of the win in race 1. But we have our first different race 2 winner of the season. It's Jason Muscat from Florian Geyer, from Askari Kantonen, from Sven de Vries. Menno Klon does hold on to P5. What a fantastic win that was. Tom Parker gets clattered into by Philip Kusher. That is going to be a penalty for bad post-race behaviour. Nevertheless, P7's a pretty good result for Pushka considering he pitted. As for Manuel Gaxella, P8, not bad at all. Scott Beresford, P9, 2 top 10s on his debut. He'll be very happy with that. Maurice Brackham, P10. Martin O'Connor! Hey. Centurion are on the board and with 5 points as well. Good start for them. Great job from the Irishman. Philip Cullen, P12 for FA. Thomas Jacobs gets 3 more points for TSA. Oh, more points for Centurion! Yes! Terence Gretsch, P14, so 7 points. That means that they're level with Brasilia actually on points, and I think that might take them ahead of Fox Racing as well. So not only are they off the board, but they are out of last place. And Kevin Siggy, after starting P3, dearie me, he finishes P15, the last point scorer here today. Positive disappoints yet again. And also, sorry, I must say as well, your retirements are Ben Horrell once again for TSA, Balazs Remniak, Dawei Tapper, dearie me, and Christoph Lichtenstein.
Yeah, I mean, Ben Horrell, I think it's the second DNF.
It is, in 2 races.
And Miki Akkonen finishes as Nikita Konik also rounds the second to final turn. But what could have been for TSA if they've actually got that? I don't know. But
3 points is better than nothing.
Yeah, indeed. Thomas Jacobs did a very good job to pull that into a points-paying position as Nikita Konik runs towards the line. And a very big congratulations indeed from everyone to Jason Muscat as we see the 2 Adonises, the Adonai.
Adonai.
How very cute.
How very cute indeed. Alright then, so hopefully we will have some interviews for you, the top 3 from each race we're hoping to come along. But from our point of view, Lewis, what another fantastic round and one excellent end to the flyaway races.
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously 2 weeks' time we come back to Catalonia track, which I prefer a lot more over these. But to say I don't like driving these tracks is very, very different to actually, watching them. The racing around this track, around Bahrain, around Malaysia in the Super Cup has been absolutely phenomenal. Everyone jostling for any position they can find. It's just been a pleasure to commentate on, and hopefully in 2 weeks' time we're treated to the same, just absolute action from lap 1 all the way up to the end of the race.
Right, I'm just going to tally up the points total now for the top 4, because they're the ones that we're most interested in. So De Vries gets 38 points from this event, so 119 plus 38 equals 14157. Kantonen gets only 24 points from this event, so he's on 130. Pushka only 18 points from this event. That's a huge loss for him, so he is on 114. And Muscat, P2 and P1. Star of the show here today, 45 points for him. Means 121. Quick maths, James.
Stop being very quick today.
124. So that means Muscat moves up into P3 ahead of Pushka.
Yeah, very interesting.
Right then. Let us get some interviews done over. Let's start off with Tom Parker, actually. A lot to talk about with you, actually. There was a lot of contact with you in both races. From your point of view, what was that all about? Were people being a bit too aggressive with you? What was your side of the story?
Yeah, both. Race 1, my setup was a word I'm not allowed to say on stream. So I had no chance of doing anything in race 1. I don't know how I got third. But yeah, sorry to Gaxella, I destroyed him there. I didn't mean to, I'm sorry. But I don't know what happened with Kantonen. I really don't know what the hell happened with Oscar.
We actually had a replay. It was not your fault. He just lost it completely under his control.
Well, there we go. Oh, that's good. But yeah, I don't know. It was just funny and changed the setup in race 2. Went from rubbish to just as good. So yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of contact, but yeah, I don't know what Pushka was doing at the end. It was a bit silly.
No, we think he's going to get a penalty for that. But yeah, I mean, ultimately, still good points on the board for FA. I'm not sure where you are in the big scheme of things, but I would think that you are very close to SRS now, looking towards the top 5. We're coming away from the flyaway races now. Is that where you expected yourselves to be, around the top 5 area?
Yeah, that's where I expected to be. I mean, me and Philip both had a bit of crap luck recently. Philip had another green freeze and got out a couple of times, so we'll see. I want that win. If I don't know, race 1 it could have been a lot closer if I had a proper setup. But we'll see. I'm happy. I'm happy with the podium.
Interesting to hear that. Right, well, thank you very much for joining us, Tom. Now, let's move on to our race 1 winner, Sven De Vries. Fantastic battle with you and Jason until the end, just nicking it. Unfortunately, couldn't produce the little tradition that we have here in Super Cup. Race 1 winner wins race 2. You got held up a bit this time, didn't you?
Yeah, race 2 was unfortunate. I felt like I was being a little bit too nice and wasn't getting the same treatment back, so that was a little bit unfortunate. I think I had a very good shot at possibly winning the race. Obviously, you can't say that without being there. But yeah, I guess points are points, so a win in 4th place. It's Oscari and Pushka not scoring too well in race 1 and Pushka in race 2. That's good for me, but would have helped a little bit more.
Yeah, indeed. Well, your championship advantage is extended from 13 to 27 points. So over a race win, that's usually when you realise someone is starting to pull ahead with it here. I mean, we're exiting the flyaway races now, going to Spain. Your confidence must be pretty high considering that you scored so well. I must ask you at this early stage, do you consider yourself the favourite to win this championship this year now?
I wouldn't call myself the favorite. I mean, there's quite a few people at the front. I mean, the last couple of races it was constantly Oscari, Pushka, and myself, and now Jason seems to be very quick as well. So I think he's gonna, get in there too. So possibly a 4-way fight for the championship.
Make it all the more exciting. Well done on your win today, Sven, and extending your championship lead. Let's now move on to Jason Muscat, my star performer, potentially just below Menno Klomp, purely because Menno climbed so many places. But a fantastic round for you. The highest scorer, cruelly denied a win in race 1, but you took that win in race 2. You must be pretty over the moon with your results today.
Yes, pretty happy. A bit disappointed with race 1 because I would have liked to get a double race win like everyone else in previous races. But yeah, I think my mistake on lap 1 might have cost me the win there.
I've forgotten about that in the context of it all.
Yeah, pretty happy though.
Was it something that you found in the setup which made you that much faster? And do you think you'll be able to take the challenge to what were previously the top 3? You are now actually third in the championship, having jumped Pushka. Do you really think you can mix it with Pushka, De Vries, Canton, and make it a 4-way battle for the championship?
I think I can. The main problem in the previous races was that I was feeling a lot of pressure. Now I'm getting more used to it, so I think I can be with the top 3.
That's good to hear. We hope to see you get some more race wins later in the season. Thank you for joining us, Jason.
Thank you.
And let's go to your teammate now, Askari Kantonen, who just about held off Sven and was unlucky to get only P2 in race 2, but race 1 was an absolute disaster, locking up under braking. You've lost quite a bit of ground to De Vries now.
Yeah, I made some really stupid mistakes today, so I'm really happy with the points I got in. I'm really happy with the points I got when looking at all the mistakes. I could have had the pole position and I could have not locked in the braking for the hairpin. But overall, pretty disappointing weekend.
I'm quite interested. I mean, the whole theme with the Adonis Engineering cars is that you're very much noted for having that huge top-end speed. Heading to Catalonia next is not exactly a track which lends itself to those low downforce cars. Are the Adonis Engineering cars going to still try and aim for that higher top-end speed than everyone else, or are you going to definitely compromise and try and find a higher downforce setup for that track?
No idea. I haven't driven in Spain in like a year at least, so we'll have to see.
Keeping your cards close to your chest. Well done on the points anyway, Sky. Better luck next time. And we'll end up now with Florian Geyer. Being honest, I thought the first pole position from Simcraft would go to Alex Cooper. It actually came from you, so a fantastic job there. But once again, there was just a little bit of unluckiness. Your tyre wear just really threw you out of contention for the win in both races. I mean, I guess you could say that you could have had a win in race 2 more than any. But so close and yet so far, I guess, is the ultimate story for Simcraft in China.
Yeah, thanks. First of all, qualifying was quite unexpected to be on pole. In testing, the pace was terrible. And then to get pole was quite amazing for me, first pole here. Race 1, the start wasn't too good. And then I had some good battles, but unfortunately the tire wear was way lower than I expected because during the practice session before the race, I had I was sure it has to be a 2-stop, but during the race I noticed the tire wear was lower and I could have gone for a 1-stop, and therefore it's all ifs and buts, but P5 was good. The second race, the start was quite bad as well. But then I had some good battles with Oskari and Menno Blond, and managed to get my first podium, which I'm quite proud of and happy. And I hope I can finally stay up here, because the season so far has been a nightmare for me, for Alex as well. I hope I can continue like this in Spain.
Yeah, I must say, I think it was quite a big shock to see Simcraft suffer so much in Australia. I mean, looking at the Team Championship, I haven't updated it fully after the results here today, but Simcraft over the last 3 events have really started to crawl their way back up the table, and I would say you're potentially in P3 now, which is a lot better than what we were expecting after that Australia round. do you think that Simcraft can now continue to go from strength to strength in the European season, and then can potentially battle for P2 or potentially even P1? I mean, those Adonis guys are pretty far ahead now.
Yeah, it's tough competition here in the Super Cup. Yeah, we aim for the title, of course. That's our goal. We gotta work hard for it, but yeah, I think we can do it. But yeah, there's luck involved in it. But I think driving-wise, we got myself and Alex, two great drivers. Yeah.
Nice to hear a bit of confidence, I say. Well, anyway, well done on your first podium and indeed your pole position. I certainly hope to see more from Simcraft this season. And I guess that just leaves us with a lot to... thank you very much for joining us, Florian. But yeah, I guess that leaves us with a bit of mulling over to do, Lewis. There's been a lot of chopping and changing, and I think now we're beginning to see the true order of Super Cup 2014, sponsored by UltraNet, of course, starting to really solidify. We know whereabouts everyone is, and we can sort of say, well, these guys will be top 5, these teams will be top 5. What do you think the European season holds for us?
Well, the Super Cup, the UltraNet Super Cup has given us 4 rounds in a row, which have been intriguing. 4 rounds done, and 4 rounds where I've come out of it going, cool, that was a good round, and it has been, really good racing so far this season. I think that will continue on into the European season. The only exception to that, I think, might be Monaco, because that's just wow, let's not try a crazy overtake, but I'm sure someone will. But we've got an interesting championship hopefully lined up for the next 13 rounds. Of course, 4 rounds down, 13 to go. But we have to wait 2 weeks to see what's going to come next. And between that, we've got a lot of racing within GPVWC, but I personally cannot wait.
And we certainly do. Join Simon Smith and I believe Lewis tomorrow for the Chinese Grand Prix. Potential rain on its way. So it's worth looking out to see whether someone can really take a challenge to the dominant CSG drivers. Next Monday, the ITC returns, touring cars, and it's looking closer than ever. Will someone finally be able to take the challenge to THR? And next Wednesday, the WSS returns, the first series to arrive at the circuit to Catalunya. That is where the Super Cup is heading next. And we finally had one of our main themes of the championship dispelled. Race 1 winner does not equal Race 2 winner. Will that maintain itself, though? I'd just like to take this moment to thank my co-commentator, Lewis McGlade. As always, our cameraman, Dave Smith, for providing you with all the pictures. I've been James Kirk, and from all of us here, it's a very warm goodbye. See you in 2 weeks.